Chapter 2242. The heavenly concubine was afraid that something would happen to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was going all out in this battle. He didn't care if he was injured or not. He didn't even care if he died. Anyone with a bit of fear in their heart wouldn't do this. Eighth heavenly concubine was going all out in this battle. She had to restrain the Black Horn Dragon's sword and find an opportunity to heavily injure the Black Horn Dragon. The compassion sword she required a high cultivation level and a strong soul power to support it. Therefore, it was very powerful and was the heavenly concubine's ultimate skill. Seeing the heavenly concubine's sword chi, the Black Horn Dragon's eyes twitched. He felt threatened. He knew that if he was hit by the sword chi, not only would his body be injured, his soul wouldn't be able to take it. He didn't have the time or energy to deal with Night Sorrow. He swung his sword at the heavenly concubine's compassion sword chi. Enough. This was the effect Night Sorrow wanted. Night Sorrow hugged the Black Horn Dragon's arm and flipped his body. He was back to back with the Black Horn Dragon. He pushed the Black Horn Dragon's back and slowed him down. At the same time, his right hand formed a fist and smashed towards the Black Horn Dragon's head. Mad dog. The Black Horn Dragon shook his head and dodged Night Sorrow's fist. He couldn't understand Night Sorrow's fighting style. The original body controlled the Black Horn Dragon's body to move. Night Sorrow's avatar poured his power of virtue into the Blood Chelan evil slaying spear and stabbed forward. The spear made from the Blood Chelan's tailbone shone brightly and the Blood Chelan evil slaying spear stabbed into the Black Horn Dragon's body again. Break for me. Night Sorrow's original body roared. His left arm locked the Black Horn Dragon's left arm and his right elbow smashed towards the Black Horn Dragon's back. The Black Horn Dragon couldn't dodge Night Sorrow's attack. The Black Horn Dragon's back was hit by Night Sorrow's powerful elbow. The moment he stopped moving back, Night Sorrow's avatar's Blood Chelan evil slaying spear pierced through the Black Horn Dragon's body. The tip of the spear came out from the side of Night Sorrow. Yi Shang's true body didn't care about the sharpness of the Blood Chelan vanquishing evil spear. He grabbed the tip of the spear and pulled. Then, he poured the beginning energy into the Black Horn Dragon's body. Yi Chen's true body controlled the Blood Chelan evil slaying spear while Yi Chen's avatar flew into the air. His left foot kicked the end of the Blood Chelan evil slaying spear while his right foot kicked the Black Horn Dragon's chest. He poured energy into the Black Horn Dragon's body while his body flipped backward, leaving the Black Horn Dragon's attack range. Then, he stopped burning his blood essence. Continuing to burn essence blood was a big loss. If he could stop, he would. Yi Shang's avatar retreated. A few of Heavenly Concubine's compassion life sword energies flew into the Black Horn Dragon's chest. They followed the trembling Blood Chelan evil punishing spear into the Black Horn Dragon's body. Ah! Ah! Black Horn Dragon kept roaring. The situation was very bad for him. His left arm was held by Night Sorrow's arm. He couldn't attack. Night Sorrow was too strong. His body moved to the left. Night Sorrow's body moved to the right. He crashed into Heavenly Concubine's compassion sword chi. He couldn't say anything. Without the spear in hand and without time to find the reincarnation sky halberd, Night Sorrow's avatar took out a long sword and attacked Black Horn Dragon. At the same time, Night Sorrow's right hand kept shaking the Blood Chelan evil slaying spear. He sent energy into Black Horn Dragon's body and started destroying it. At this time, Wu Lingfei flashed away from Night Sorrow's clear sky pagoda. She flew far away. She was looking for the reincarnation sky halberd for Night Sorrow. You call me an ant? You're nothing. Today, I'm going to kill you. Night Sorrow went crazy. He used his body's strength to control Black Horn Dragon's left arm. His right arm grabbed the Blood Chelan evil slaying spear and continuously attacked Black Horn Dragon. Heavenly Concubine's long sword quickly swung. The sky full of compassion sword chi kept exploding into Black Horn Dragon's body. Every compassion sword chi that hit Black Horn Dragon's body would emit a white mist. This was a phenomenon caused by destroying Black Horned Dragon's body. While attacking Black Horned Dragon's body, the Compassion Sword Chi kept attacking Black Horned Dragon's Spirit Sea. Black Horned Dragon faced the double damage from Night Sorrow and Heavenly Concubine. In addition, the human Emperor's seal was constantly suppressing Black Horned Dragon's power. "You damn ant." Black Horned Dragon kept cursing. "From now on, whoever calls me an ant, I will kill them." Night Sorrow was very angry. He hated it when people looked down on him. The battle continued, but the scales of victory were tilting towards Night Sorrow and Heavenly Concubine. After an hour, Black Horned Dragon was only struggling. "Night Sorrow, catch!" Wu Lingfei retrieved the Samsara halberd and threw it at Night Sorrow. Elsewhere, if the Samsara halberd was knocked away, Wu Lingfei would be able to retrieve it in an instant. However, it was very difficult in the world of trees. She searched for it and wasted a lot of time. Even an hour was the result of her rushing. Night Sorrow's original body was controlling Black Horned Dragon's body. He could only send his doppelganger to catch the weapon. With the Samsara halberd in hand, Night Sorrow's doppelganger's attacks became smoother. However, his doppelganger's injuries were more severe. His left arm still had flesh and blood essence, but his tendons and bones were all shattered. Burning his essence blood was also very harmful to him. However, Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of this. He just wanted to kill Black Horned Dragon. As for his doppelganger, as long as his soul wasn't destroyed, it wouldn't hurt his foundation. When his soul was complete, even if his doppelganger was destroyed, he could still cultivate a new one with a complete soul. However, this situation didn't apply to the original body. Even soul-uniting realm cultivators couldn't do it. If the original body's blood essence was damaged, then the Tao foundation would be damaged. As time went on, Night Sorrow and Heavenly Concubine's attacks became more and more violent. Black Horned Dragon gradually couldn't take it anymore. Kacha! Night Sorrow's original body exerted force and broke Black Horned Dragon's left arm. Then, he turned his body and hooked his left arm around Black Horned Dragon's neck. His right knee smashed into Black Horned Dragon's waist. Then, his right hand punched the back of Black Horned Dragon's head. "Damn it!" The Black Horned Dragon cursed. He had been in a passive position ever since Yi Shang had taken control of his body. Now, Yi Shang's punch didn't shatter his head, but it still made him see stars. "You're the one who deserves to die." Night Sorrow punched again. While Black Horned Dragon was seeing stars, Heavenly Concubine's long sword pierced straight into Black Horned Dragon's Spirit Sea. Black Horned Dragon's body was destroyed. Black Horned Dragon's soul could only leave his body. "You can't run." "I said, whoever calls me an ant, I'll kill them." Night Sorrow roared. He waved his arm and the fire of virtue appeared on the human Emperor's seal. The fire of virtue exploded in all directions. Then, it shrunk and wrapped around Black Horned Dragon's soul. At the same time, the human Emperor's seal shone brightly and hovered above Black Horned Dragon's soul to suppress it. Heavenly Concubine's body trembled. She felt that the crazy Night Sorrow was really crazy. He even dared to fight a soul-uniting realm cultivator of the tribulation of 9 emperors. Chapter 22:43. After the time it took to brew a cup of tea, the Black Horned Dragon let out an unwilling roar as its soul was shattered. Night Sorrow let out a sigh of relief. His body swayed a bit. Not to mention his injuries, his main body and avatar had both used up all their energy and were extremely exhausted. Wu Lingfei flashed to Night Sorrow's side and supported Night Sorrow's body. "Let's go into the Clear Sky Pagoda." Releasing the Clear Sky Pagoda, Night Sorrow's soul shook. He wrapped Wu Lingfei and the Heavenly Concubine and entered the Clear Sky Pagoda's time acceleration level. Then, Night Sorrow and the Heavenly Concubine began to meditate. Night Sorrow's original body meditated to recover while his clone healed. The recovery time was faster. After 2 days, Night Sorrow's original body and the Heavenly Concubine were back to their peak condition. However, Night Sorrow's clone was still pale. Burning his virtue Tao body was very harmful to him. Healing like this couldn't solve the problem. /Oh, Night Sorrow, don't do this in the future. I'm scared. The heavenly concubine said to Night Sorrow, who was sitting by the tea table. I have no choice. If I retreat, this mission will fail. I can't abandon my companions. That will leave a shadow in my heart. If my heart is covered in dust and I can't face myself, how can I improve? Some things must be done. Night Sorrow shook his head at the heavenly concubine. Night Sorrow insisted on doing something and not doing it. But your clone is too damaged, Wu Lingfei said. She was heartbroken. It's okay. If I can't recover, I'll give up. Night Sorrow thought about it and said. How can you think like that? Isn't the price too high? The heavenly concubine looked at Night Sorrow with surprise. The world tree is too important to the celestial realm and the 9 zones world. Your safety is also very important to me. It's best if I can keep my battle clone. If I can't, then I'll use my full power. If it's destroyed, then I'll waste some time to rebuild it. Night Sorrow sighed. Don't you have the heavenly Tao flower? Wu Lingfei asked Night Sorrow. They're two different things. My clone can be cultivated again, but the heavenly Tao flower can't be regenerated. Once it's used up, it's gone. Without the heavenly Tao flower, we won't be able to make up for anything that happens to our true bodies. Night Sorrow shook his head. Heavenly concubine and dancing spirit concubine looked at each other. They didn't expect Night Sorrow to have such thoughts. Don't give up. The black dragon should be the companion of the world tree. The soul-uniting realm is the highest realm below the divine emperor realm before the god-destroying tribulation. There shouldn't be any more opponents like that. At most, there will be the protector of the world tree. We can deal with that. We'll talk about your clone when we get back, said the heavenly concubine. It's too late. My doppelganger has already lost 20% of its vitality. If I don't use the heavenly Tao flower, it probably won't recover. Don't worry. Creating another doppelganger will just waste some materials and time. It's nothing compared to this, Night Sorrow said. No. You don't understand. There's a difference between the original doppelganger and the doppelganger that was cultivated later. If you cultivate another doppelganger, you might lose some of your abilities. Take the virtuous Tao body for example. Your current doppelganger grew together with your true body. The virtuous Tao aura is also condensed bit by bit. It's a gift from the heavenly Tao. If you cultivate again, it might not exist anymore. Also, there will be some accumulation after the battle. The new doppelganger won't exist. Don't give up. We'll think of something when we get back. Heavenly concubine was worried that Night Sorrow would give up on his doppelganger. So that's how it is. Night Sorrow sighed helplessly. Even so, he didn't regret it. In that situation, he had to fight. If he didn't fight, he would be in danger. He ran away with dancing spirit concubine. What about heavenly concubine? This mission had also failed. Thank you for not abandoning me. Heavenly concubine nodded at Night Sorrow. She was very touched. She also understood why so many people gathered around Night Sorrow. It was because of his sincerity. He didn't abandon his friends and companions. Even if he died, it gave people an indescribable sense of security. No need to be so polite. We came out together. If I'm alive, then you're all alive. Night Sorrow smiled and took a cup of tea from dancing spirit concubine. As long as I'm alive, you'll all be alive. That's a good way to put it. Oh right, who taught you how to fight? It's like a madman created it. Heavenly concubine thought of Night Sorrow's death battle with the black dragon and was speechless. She was afraid of encountering such an opponent, let alone others. No one taught me. I just felt that it was more suitable. In a situation where I didn't have an advantage in any aspect, I could only use my strongest point to fight against him. Compared to the black-horned dragon, I only had a strong body and strength, so I felt that close combat was more suitable. Yi Shan was a bit conflicted after being called a madman. He hadn't thought too much about it at the time. I'm not scolding you, I've never seen such a battle. You're the bane of the tribulation of 9 emperors. Without you, Scorpion Kwang wouldn't have died. Without your help, not to mention killing the black dragon, I would have been in a bad situation. If it went well, I would have been able to retreat safely. If it didn't, I would have had to burn my essence, blood and soul. The black dragon was too strong. Heavenly Concubine shook her head. This was the most intense battle she had ever fought. When she fought with Yen Wushuang, both of them were around the tribulation of 7 emperors. In the real world, it took a month for Night Sorrow's clone to recover from its injuries. However, the heavenly desolate city had thought of a way to deal with it. Night Sorrow's doppelganger was injured in the battle with the black dragon. Wu Lingfei told the heavenly desolate city lord. This was a big deal. The heavenly desolate city lord called a meeting of elders and reported Night Sorrow's situation. The young city lord is going all out. We can't let the young city lord be injured. If he continues to cultivate a doppelganger, it'll be different from the original doppelganger, the Golden Dragon King said. Night Sorrow still has 2 petals of the heavenly path flower, but he doesn't want to use them. He thinks that good steel should be used on the edge of a blade. He doesn't want to use them on his doppelganger. After all, the heavenly path flower is gone after he uses it, Wu Lingfei said. Tran Hung brought her with him when the meeting of elders was called. He's willing to do it for others, but he's unwilling to do it for himself. We can't reach the Renhuang Plain. Qin Qinjie sighed. The heavenly path flower is too precious. Our blood Kirin clan still has the blood of merit left by our ancestors. It contains the power of merit and the power of blood. When Night Sorrow comes back, we'll give it to him. If it doesn't work, then he must use the heavenly path flower. Some injuries cannot appear on his body. He is still a child, Blood Kirin King Chirue said. Chirue, you mean the blood of auspicious signs? Tran Hung looked at Chirue. Chapter 2244. Then I won't be polite with the blood Qilin race. Let's prepare first. When Night Sorrow comes back, let's use it. As for the heavenly path flower, it's better to save it. Tran Hung said. Yes, the heavenly path flower can be exchanged for the life and future of a high-level cultivator. Blood Qilin King nodded. King Yawu was an example. Without the heavenly path flower, King Yawu's injuries couldn't be healed. His foundation would be destroyed, and he wouldn't be able to improve anymore. After the meeting, Wu Lingfei's original body told Night Sorrow about the decision of the elders. I'll have to trouble everyone with my matters again. I'm really sorry, said Yi Shan. Night Sorrow, you're wrong. Why are you doing this? It's for the sake of the celestial realm. You're risking your life in the front. They should be doing something behind you. Heavenly Concubine looked at Night Sorrow and said. Yes, the elders of the elders are feeling guilty because they can't come to help you. Wu Lingfei said. Then we'll talk about it when we get back. We'll leave after drinking tea. Night Sorrow didn't say anything else because he had to accept the elders' good intentions. Night Sorrow's injuries had already recovered. However, his doppelganger's injuries couldn't be healed in a short time. If it couldn't be healed, it would be an irrecoverable injury. After leaving the Clear Sky Pagoda, the 3 continued forward. The cultivators in this world were relatively poor and didn't have many resources. The spirit chi here was rich and didn't need any cultivation resources. In addition, there weren't any spirit herbs growing here. The earth's nutrients had already been absorbed by the world tree. There wasn't enough nutrients for spirit herbs to grow. After killing the black dragon, Night Sorrow and the other 2 obtained some of the dragon's materials. However, the crystal core and essence blood were extremely valuable. Night Sorrow's original body led Heavenly Concubine and Wu Lingfei forward. His doppelganger refined the dragon's essence blood in the clear sky pagoda to recover. Although he didn't know how effective it was still beneficial for him. As they advanced, Night Sorrow and the others were very careful because they were very close to the World Tree. They would arrive at the location of the World Tree's main trunk in just a short while. Night Sorrow and the other two advanced at a very slow speed, almost as slow as ordinary low-level cultivators. As they moved forward, the three of them got closer and closer to the World Tree. Heavenly Concubine, Anti-Fey, the more we move forward, the more I feel the bleakness and vicissitudes of life. What about you two? After moving forward for a while, Night Sorrow looked at the two women and asked. Yes, something must have happened. Normally speaking, it shouldn't be like this. Heavenly Concubine nodded. In fact, there were no more obstructions, not even any other life forms. 2 days later, Night Sorrow's group of 3 arrived at the area where the World Tree's main trunk was located. They were finally able to see the true appearance of the World Tree. The trunk of the World Tree was close to 100 miles in diameter, and its height was immeasurable. It reached straight into the sky. What shocked Yi Shang and the others was that there were huge cracks on the tree trunk, and the cracks were filled with black charcoal marks. Traces of lightning tribulation. After taking a look, Night Sorrow confirmed that the huge cracks and charcoal marks were left behind by lightning tribulation. That's right, these are the traces of lightning tribulation. At this moment, a woman's figure appeared on the trunk of the World Tree in front of Night Sorrow's group. Tree Spirit. Although he couldn't see her face clearly, Night Sorrow knew that it was the Tree Spirit. The Tree Spirit's aura surprised Night Sorrow. The bleakness and vicissitudes of life were very strong. Senior, you're not in your infancy stage. Did you fail your tribulation? Night Sorrow asked the question in his heart. Yes, I failed my tribulation. The Tree Spirit nodded slightly at Night Sorrow. Look. V is on the Z version of the chapter Ka. F. My name is Night Sorrow, and I come from the current and future Paragon worlds. I wonder if I can have a chat with Senior. Night Sorrow felt that there was no need to beat around the bush. It was better to talk directly. He didn't know how to beat around the bush. Alright, you have a lot of power of virtue. Countless years have passed, and only one of the Origin Realm's powerhouses is slightly stronger than you. However, you're still young, the Tree Spirit said. Then, the Tree Spirit began to talk to itself. The Origin Realm had once been an autark realm, and it hadn't been destroyed even after 1,000 reincarnations of an autark realm and 1,000 reincarnations of a secondary autark realm. This was because the World Tree had been there, and it had maintained the origin energy of the Origin Realm. The Origin Realm's destruction was all because of me. When I saw other cultivators cultivating and falling one after another to the god-slaying tribulation, I felt that it was possible, so I began to cultivate. When I reached the tribulation of 9 sovereigns, I didn't suppress myself and directly tried to break through the god-slaying tribulation. I felt that there was no problem because my body was innately gifted, and my soul wasn't weak either. However, I still failed like the other cultivators, the Tree Spirit said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew why Tran Hung's judgment was wrong. The World Tree's aura was weak not because it was in its infancy stage, but because it had failed its tribulation. Moreover, the origin energy it contained concealed this apocalyptic aura. What are the consequences of failing the tribulation? Night Sorrow didn't hide anything and directly spoke his thoughts. I'll die. The reason I'm holding on now is because of my unique nature, the World Tree said. I'm here this time. Originally, I wanted to bring Senior to the Sovereign World so that it wouldn't be destroyed. The current Sovereign World and the future Sovereign World would be connected, and both worlds would benefit. Unfortunately, something happened to Senior. However, that's not important. Is there anything Senior needs my help with? Night Sorrow thought for a moment before asking. He knew that he had failed his mission this time. The World Tree had a problem, and it wasn't because he didn't work hard enough. This was the will of the heavens. I can't do it anymore. After failing the tribulation, something happened to my body, and I couldn't stop the origin realm from shattering. This tree world is a relatively large fragment of the origin realm. I don't need any help in this situation. The tree spirit's hazy eyes sized up Night's sorrow, and light occasionally flashed from them. I'm a bit helpless. Heavenly concubine, Auntie Fei, let's rest for a bit and then return. Yishang said. He wasn't too disappointed. This was supposed to be a journey of opportunity. Now, it was just an opportunity that had gone up in smoke. The heavenly concubine and Wu Lingfei nodded, and Wu Lingfei brewed a pot of tea. Night's sorrow, we came for nothing this time. We even damaged your origin energy and damaged your foundation. The heavenly concubine felt a bit unbalanced. Life is full of ups and downs. It's fine if my origin energy is damaged. If there's a problem, it's fine as long as it's resolved. Senior, can I have some tea? Night's sorrow picked up a cup of tea and looked at the tree spirit. The tree spirit shook its head. The virtuous emperor is really open-minded. If there's a problem, it'll be resolved. However, you don't look like you're damaged. Chapter 22:45. The tree spirit waved her right hand, and a few images appeared in front of her. A moment later, it changed to the scene of Night's sorrow, heavenly concubine, and the black horned dragon fighting. Tree spirit finished reading it seriously. I've been in a deep sleep all this time, so I don't know about these things. You fought beautifully, but the obsession in your heart is too strong. This is not what a virtuous emperor like you should do. Perhaps. I'm the realm lord of the 9 regions world, the human emperor of the celestial realm. If I can fight for the opportunity to protect the 100 regions world, I'll do my best. Unfortunately, things don't go as I wish. Night's sorrow smiled. He felt that he was stubborn, but not obsessed. Realm Lord. Your cultivation isn't bad, but it hasn't reached the level of ruling, right? Yes, you said that it's a newborn world. Perhaps you can do it with your cultivation. The tree spirit nodded. No. I'm not ruling by force. I'm the realm lord recognized by the origins. Night's sorrow shook the clear sky pagoda, and the 9 regions origin pearl in the area where the soul-raising grass was returned to Night's sorrow's spirit sea. Then, it floated above his head and rotated once before entering the spirit sea again. Origin Realm Lord, you're a realm lord recognized by the world's origin. You're a realm lord that surpasses the great realm's origin. The tree spirit's voice was very surprised. Yes, the 9 regions world has only been formed for a few 100,000 years, but it's developing quite quickly. Night's sorrow smiled. The 9 regions origin pearl returned to the divine sea, and Night's sorrow's emotions became more stable. The newborn world has developed to this extent in just a few 100,000 years. This isn't because of the world itself, but because of you, the realm lord, the tree spirit said. Some of my seniors said the same thing. Night's sorrow nodded. I watched your battle. Your clone lost 20% of its essence blood, but it's not a big problem. In the origin realm, there's a cultivation technique called the infinite body forging. It cripples a part of the body and uses the crippled essence blood to replenish the body's vitality. Then, it uses a secret technique and resources to regenerate the severed limb. If this continues, the body will be filled with vitality. The tree spirit said. That's a good idea. It's worth researching, Night's sorrow said as he rubbed his head. Haha. Research. One can be unyielding if one has no desires. You have done well as a merit emperor. The tree spirit smiled because Night's sorrow didn't ask for it and wanted to research it himself. After drinking a cup of tea, Night's sorrow stood up and cupped his hands towards the tree spirit. Sorry for disturbing senior's meditation. Auntie Fei, heavenly concubine, let's go back. There's no rush, said the tree spirit. Senior, do you have any other instructions? Night's sorrow turned to the tree spirit. Sometimes, things can take a turn for the better. Perhaps you didn't come in vain. I don't have much time left, and I've been persisting because of my obsession. Because of the young world tree, my daughter is still in the womb and will be able to survive on her own soon. I've been looking for a suitable world for her. After listening to your description, I feel that your world is not bad. However, I still want to take a look at your world. I don't care what the current sovereign realm is like. I want to see the world where you are the realm master. The tree spirit said. The young world tree? You want to see the 9 regions world? Sigh, in fact, the place that needs the help of the world tree the most right now is the celestial realm. Night Sorrow said after a moment of surprise. He was very conflicted because he couldn't explain the situation to Tran Hung and King Yawu. I don't care so much. Do you think it's okay or not? Asked the tree spirit. All right. At this time, I don't care so much. It's not that I don't care about the celestial realm. Night Sorrow shook his head. While they were talking, a branch of the world tree floated down. The tree spirit flashed into the branch, and the branch landed in front of Night Sorrow. You can take this branch with you. Then, the tree spirit disappeared and entered the branch. Night Sorrow grabbed the branch. I can't carry it forever, right? Can you enter my spatial treasure? Night Sorrow asked. Of course, that's not a problem. You can't harm me even if you want to. Although I'm just a temporary doppelganger, I can mobilize my power. Destroying your Dharma treasure is a piece of cake for me. However, you can keep it for now. If it's inconvenient, you can put it into your spatial treasure. Although he had agreed, Tree Spirit still gave Night Sorrow a warning. Holding the branch of the world tree, Night Sorrow and the others left. Night Sorrow sighed as he said, we still have to waste some time. The 1,000 Realms whirling defense is too strong. It took him a year to get here, but Night Sorrow felt that it would take him at least 3 months to return. I can make things easier for you. After the tree spirit finished speaking, a branch of the world tree appeared and extended downwards. Then, a space-time tunnel appeared. Although Night Sorrow was shocked, he understood that the 1,000 Realms defense was the world tree's method. It was normal for it to be able to send the 3 of them out. After passing through the space-time tunnel, it took Night Sorrow and the others a moment to arrive outside the 1,000 Realms whirling avatar. It was difficult to come here, but it was easy to come back. Let's go. Night Sorrow tightened his grip on the Samsara halberd on his back. He held the branch of the world tree in his left hand and took a sip from the wine jar in his right. Without any opponents, Night Sorrow and the other 2 successfully returned to the entrance of the world of trees. After opening the seal, Night Sorrow brought Wu Lingfei and the heavenly concubine back to the ethereal dynasty. Let's go home. The tree spirit said, the spiritual chi here is quite dense, but the origin energy is weak. In other words, there is no world origin in this world. Yes, the origin world's sovereign has already reincarnated. Night Sorrow nodded. Without stopping in the celestial realm, Night Sorrow and the other 2 entered the 9 regions world through Xingyue City. This is the 9 regions world. Night Sorrow said. Why? At this time, the 9 regions origin body appeared. He felt a strong origin energy and left the heaven-sealing Great Hall. Greetings, world sovereign. The tree spirit appeared on the branch. The world tree. Greetings, world sovereign. The 9 regions origin body cupped his hands at the world tree. Night Sorrow had the 9 regions origin bead with him, but Night Sorrow didn't activate it. The 9 regions origin bead had no consciousness. Night Sorrow explained the situation to the 9 regions origin body. Come and take a look at the 9 regions world. The world's sovereign will be satisfied because the 9 regions world has a merit realm lord. The 9 regions origin body said. After cupping her hands at the 9 regions origin body, the world tree's branch flew away. She wanted to take a look at the 9 regions world herself. World sovereign, if the world tree settles down in our 9 regions world, it should be a good thing for the 9 regions world. Night Sorrow looked at the 9 regions origin body and said. The world tree's existence is most beneficial to the world origin. There is no danger of the origin energy being exhausted. It will break through the lifespan of the world itself. In other words, the world's level won't decrease or be destroyed. The 9 regions origin body said to Night Sorrow. Then it depends on whether the world tree is willing to stay or not. We can't force it. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 2246. Don't worry, Universe Sovereign. I won't embarrass the 9 regions world. The 9 regions world's reputation isn't just mine, it's yours, and it's also the reputation of all living beings in the 9 regions world. No matter what, we have to live with pride, Night Sorrow said. That's right. You can be at ease and do whatever you want. I approve of you. The living beings of the 9 regions world approve of you. Whatever you do, whether it's right or wrong, even if it's bad, we'll all bear it together, said the 9 regions origin body. Strength of character. This was one of the civilizations in the 9 regions world. It was what Night Sorrow and 9 regions origin body pursued. Thank you for supporting Night Sorrow, Universe Sovereign, Night Sorrow said. Although the world origin body had recognized him as its master, Night Sorrow still respected the world origin body very much. There's no need to be polite between us. You were the one who fixed the broken 9 regions world. You were also the one who brought the 9 regions world's supreme attributes. To be fair, you created the 9 regions world's present and future, so you have the right to be its master, 9 regions origin body explained his thoughts. He was completely supportive of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow and the 9 regions origin body then discussed the matter of cultivating soul-nurturing grass. Move a portion of it to the heaven ceiling hall. Also, leave some in your spatial treasure. When you're not cultivating in the heaven ceiling hall, leave some in your spatial treasure. It can provide you with energy to strengthen your soul. That's the most suitable arrangement, said the world essence body. He was being considerate for Yi Shan's sake. Night Sorrow then moved half of the soul-nurturing grass to the sky ceiling palace. As for who was qualified to cultivate in the sky ceiling palace and who was qualified to use the energy of the soul-nurturing grass, Night Sorrow and 9 regions origin body had their own judgment. He knew who had contributed to the 9 regions world. After talking for a while, Night Sorrow stopped the heavenly concubine, who wanted to continue cultivating. Night Sorrow took her and Wu Lingfei back to the city in the sky. Night Sorrow took the 2 women to see his family. He didn't want the heavenly concubine to feel like she had no family and friends. The Yi family naturally welcomed the heavenly concubine and Wu Ling concubine warmly. After living for so long, the heavenly concubine felt that her heart had become numb and lonely. Now that she was in the city in the sky, these negative feelings were diluted quite a bit. Qing Yan, Shaolei, the heavenly concubine is one of the top experts in the entire celestial realm. You can ask her for advice when you're free. You won't find it troublesome, right? Night Sorrow asked as he sipped his tea. It's pointless for you to say that. When have I ever complained about trouble? But I will come here often in the future. I hope you don't find it troublesome. Heavenly concubine said with a smile. She knew that Night Sorrow wanted her life to be a little more colorful, which was why he made such an arrangement. Auntie Heavenly Concubine, in our family, mother and concubine usually have the final say. Yi Shaolei said with a smile. You're such a shameless girl. You're telling me everything. Yang Lei laughed and scolded her. Night Sorrow, you've been working very hard outside. You've been very tired, and very difficult. But in reality, you're living a real life. You're living a life of flesh and blood. Your parents are healthy, your wife is virtuous, your children are happy, and you have both status and identity. What is this? This is a winner in life. Heavenly Concubine said. She looked at Night Sorrow with envy. That's right. High-level cultivators are all lonely. Their loved ones have been taken away by time. They're still alive, but other than cultivation, they don't have any pursuits or joy. Lin Piaomiao said. That's true. There were once emperors and emperors who committed suicide because they had lived enough without any joy. They couldn't find a goal in life and their Tao heart collapsed. Heavenly Concubine said. That's quite scary. Yi Xiaolei stuck out her tongue. Everyone, cultivate well. When the family is together, there won't be such messy things. Night Sorrow said. 13. Eldest senior brother and senior sister Qianqian's marriage has been decided on the 6th of next month. Your 9 realms doppelganger didn't come home, so we didn't tell you. Sikong Chuyu said. There's still half a month. Then I won't go anywhere in this half a month. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. Gong Xian was going to get married. This was a big deal. In addition, he also had to wait for news about the world tree. While the family banquet was being prepared, Night Sorrow, Papa Gu, his parents, and Heavenly Concubine were chatting. CD Head. MFA. Night Sorrow, if you don't work hard, you'll be safe in the 9 realms world. Papa Gu said. That's right. Son, you're the realm master of the 9 realms world. You have absolute control over the 9 realms world. As long as you don't leave the 9 realms world, no one can threaten you. Yu Qing said. Mother, what you say makes sense. However, there are 2 sides to every coin. If I didn't leave the 9 realms world, I wouldn't have achieved what I have today. The 9 realms world is still filled with danger. If cultivators from other realms attack, we won't be able to defend ourselves. Although it's dangerous to wander outside, I can improve myself faster. Night Sorrow said. Qing, don't worry about the child. He knows what he's doing. Yi Wuyo said. Yu Qing nodded. That's right. Your son is someone who can make the entire celestial realm tremble with a stomp of his feet. There are some things that he can handle himself. That's not right. What's wrong? You're all grown up now. Why are you being so self-righteous? Yu Qing glared at Night Sorrow. Mother, you're thinking too much. Your son wouldn't dare. Night Sorrow hurriedly apologized. Hee. Heavenly Concubine, I've made a fool of myself. Yu Qing smiled at the Heavenly Concubine. There's nothing to make a fool of. Actually, having parents educate and scold you is also a kind of happiness. Many people beg for it. The Heavenly Concubine smiled. The Yi family's banquet was very casual and lively. Everyone was talking and laughing. Yi Shang also asked some questions about the child and expressed his own views at the same time. Seeing this scene, the Heavenly Concubine's thoughts went back to 9 eras ago. She only had this kind of life when she was just born. Heavenly Concubine, if you like, you can come over anytime. Our family is like this every day. Although we're all cultivators and don't need to eat, this is the feeling of home. Yu Qing said. Heavenly Concubine, you said you like the lake. Then find a place by the lake and build a mansion. Night Sorrow said. Auntie, look. You're inviting me, but Night Sorrow is already chasing me away. The Heavenly Concubine smiled. Ah. Heavenly Concubine, look at what you're saying. I'm just being nice. Night Sorrow was stunned by the Heavenly Concubine's words. I know you're being nice. Actually, it's not that troublesome. Just build a residence on the protruding island east of the city in the sky. The Heavenly Concubine said. Chapter 2247. Didn't you say I can choose as I wish? I'm just choosing a place to live. That island is still yours. You can plant whatever you want. I'll only help you take care of it. I won't take it for myself. The Heavenly Concubine smiled. All right. Build a pavilion and hire a gardener. That's fine too. Night Sorrow said. These were all small matters to the Yi family and the Heavenly Concubine. In the next few days, Night Sorrow stayed in the city in the sky with his family. The Heavenly Concubine also stayed for a few days before going to 9 Regions City. Night Sorrow stayed in the city in the sky for 9 days. The tree spirit of the world tree came. She was brought here by the heavenly concubine after arriving at 9 Regions City. Night Sorrow personally received her because it was related to the outcome. How is our 9 Regions world? Night Sorrow asked. A virtuous world. The 9 Regions world civilization is very high. Tree Spirit said. This is human civilization. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Sorrow didn't mention inviting the world tree to live in the 9 Regions world. In the words of the 9 Regions origin body, there was no need to put down his face to beg others. He couldn't lose the spirit of the 9 Regions people. Also, when he first met the tree spirit, Night Sorrow had already expressed his willingness. There was no need to say anything more. After a while, the tree spirit was silent for a while before speaking. Why don't you ask this sovereign about my plans? Actually, whether I ask or not, the tree spirit has already waited in your heart, right? Things are relative. Although the 9 Regions world, or rather, any world would want the world tree to live in, the tree spirit also needs to choose a suitable world. This is a win-win situation. After observing the 9 Regions world for 9 days, the tree spirit should have made a decision. Night Sorrow said. Yes, the 9 Regions world is very good. Not only is it a future sovereign world, but it's also a world of etiquette. This sovereign has decided to place my daughter in the 9 Regions world. Please take care of her. Tree Spirit didn't beat around the bush and directly stated her decision. Night Sorrow stood up and bowed to the tree spirit. Night Sorrow thanks the tree spirit on behalf of the billions of living beings in the 9 Regions world for your decision. You're too polite, Realm Lord Night. It's rare for Realm Lord Night to have such achievements in just 1,000 years. Most importantly, your character is excellent. I believe in you. The tree spirit said. Thank you for your praise, Tree Supreme. Night Sorrow will definitely take good care of Princess Tree, said Night Sorrow. Permanent 5M free of charge CN later, this sovereign will send her over. As for the place where she grows up, Realm Lord, you can arrange it. The tree sovereign was also very polite. Supreme Tree, I would like to ask, is there any way to solve the crisis of the celestial realm? I really don't want to see the celestial realm destroyed. That would be a great catastrophe, said Night Sorrow with a sigh. Realm Lord Night is a pinnacle virtuous emperor and has a compassionate heart. This is very rare, but it's not impossible. This sovereign's daughter grows up in the 9 Regions world. When she grows up, the world's origin energy will seep into the void and bless the celestial realm. During this period, this sovereign will move to the celestial realm. What do you think, Realm Lord Night? The tree spirit said. Thank you, Supreme Tree. Night Sorrow exhaled. Alright, you're welcome. Since you're taking care of my daughter, we're not outsiders. Also, this sovereign also hopes that you can rise. This is the limitless body tempering art. The tree spirit's branches slid on the ground and carved a manual. Yi Shang took out a pen and paper and wrote, Yi Shang thanks Sir Tree Supreme for your guidance. Sir Tree Supreme, do you need Yi Shang's help? Yes, but it's not a big problem. It's just a place to live. When we came, that city was pretty good. I'll take root there. You can arrange the specific details. Also, the existence of my daughter has to be kept a secret. She's still in her infancy and doesn't have much power to protect herself, said the tree spirit. Alright, I have a special clone in the 9 Regions world. Its battle power is no different from the original body, but the restriction is that it can't leave the 9 Regions world. It's not a problem to protect Princess Tree as she grows up. The 9 Regions world lord will also take care of her. Very good, Realm Lord Night has prepared everything, said the tree spirit. Because I'm confident. If Supreme Tree wants to choose a place for Princess Tree, there's no place more suitable than the 9 Regions world, said Night Sorrow with a smile. After talking for a while, Night Sorrow sent the tree spirit away. After arriving at Xingyue City, Night Sorrow also talked to Qing Emperor and the others. He told Qing Emperor and the others that there was no need to stop the tree's spirit from coming, and that they were to cooperate fully with Supreme Tree if it wanted to do anything. After that, Night Sorrow took the teleportation formation to Tianhuang City. When Night Sorrow returned, the Tran Hung immediately called for a meeting of the elders because everyone wanted to know what had happened. Almost all the elders were present. Everyone had been staying in Tianhuang City recently. After everyone had arrived, Night Sorrow stood up and told them about the result of the trip. "I'm sorry, the World Tree has to stay in Xinyu's city and can't come to Tianhuang City." "It's not that Night Sorrow is selfish, it's the World Tree's intention," said Night Sorrow. "Young City Lord, there's no need for you to apologize. It's a blessing for the World Tree to stay in the celestial realm. It's the same everywhere. If she wants to follow you to the 9 regions world, everyone can only watch," said the Heavenly Astral King with a smile. "It's good that everyone understands," said Night Sorrow. "For this matter, we feel very apologetic that the young City Lord had to personally charge and break through the enemy lines. Killing a divine soul unity realm cultivator must have been a thrilling battle. If we could witness it with our own eyes, it would be a blessing," said the White Tiger King. "That's because I'm fighting with others. My luck is better." Yi Shan smiled. "Fei, you didn't record it in a memory crystal ball?" Huang Ling asked Wu Lingfei. "This." Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow. She had indeed recorded it, but she felt that it wasn't right to take it out without asking for Night Sorrow's opinion. Since Huang Ling had asked, she couldn't lie. Some cultivators disdained to do things that went against their conscience. "I really recorded it. Let's take it out and show it to everyone. Is it convenient for you, young City Lord?" Huang Ling said excitedly and looked at Night Sorrow. This required Night Sorrow's approval. "Let's take a look." "It's nothing. The other person who participated in the battle is the guardian of our 9 regions world," Night Sorrow said. He wanted to confirm the identity of the heavenly concubine first. This way, the others wouldn't say anything else and wouldn't ask about it easily. Huang Ling took the crystal ball that Wu Lingfei had recorded and watched it in the conference hall. Everyone fell silent after watching it. The battle was too intense and exciting. It was a battle of life and death. It's a combination of tactics and bravery. Patriarch Lin recorded 2 copies and sealed them in the Heavenly Desolate City and the Divine Capital City. Future generations must know about the deeds of the predecessors. After calming down, Tran Hung spoke. He knew that Night Sorrow had really gone all out and was very touched. Chapter 2248. It's just that my doppelganger's chi and blood were damaged, which affected my battle prowess. I just need to recuperate. Don't worry, Uncle. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, this bottle contains the blood essence of our blood Chilan race's ancestor. This is 1 drop. There is another drop in the ancestral hall. If 1 drop is not enough, I will go back and get more. Blood Chilan King pushed a jade bottle to Night Sorrow. This won't do. The blood essence of our blood Chilan race's ancestor is very important. Night Sorrow will think of other ways. Night Sorrow didn't take it. He heard Blood Chilan King say that it was in the ancestral hall. He knew that the blood essence of the Chilan race's ancestor was very precious. It would be a lie to say that it isn't precious. But using it on you will benefit the celestial realm. Blood Chilan King pushed the bottle back to Night Sorrow. Keep it, King Yawu said. Hearing King Yawu's words, Night Sorrow cupped his fists at Blood Chilan King again and kept the jade bottle. Night Sorrow, your thinking is wrong. You must think that your doppelganger's soul is fine after burning its blood essence. At most, you can just recultivate. But the original doppelganger is different from the original doppelganger. The original doppelganger has gone through battles and years of accumulation. Its battle prowess is real, which means that it has a foundation. But a new doppelganger won't do. It will be lacking a lot. So, you have to protect your current doppelganger. It will also build a foundation for the future. King Yowu looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Yes, you are young. As your seniors, we have to check for you. You must listen to us." Tran Hung said. Night Sorrow thanks the city lord, uncle, and seniors. Night Sorrow cupped his fists at the group. "If you want to say thanks, it should be us. You have a base and it is very stable. If you stay in the 9-domain world, nothing can affect you. You have also insisted on working hard for the celestial realm. We are all grateful and grateful." The Golden Dragon King said. "Lord Golden Dragon King, you're too polite. You're treating me like an outsider," Night Sorrow said. The Golden Dragon King's words were true, but they were also a little harsh. Everyone chatted casually. Tran Hung and the others felt that there would be no war for the time being. Night Sorrow could go home and rest for a while. If anything happened, they would send someone to inform Night Sorrow. After telling the Demon King and Pu Luo about the Humanitarian League, Night Sorrow left the heavenly desolate city. He should rest. He hasn't been quiet since he arrived in the celestial realm, the Grand Elder said. He needs to rest. He also needs to settle down. He needs to calm down. Give him time. Even if it's just a little time, it will be enough for him to rise. Perhaps the next time we meet, it will be a different him, Tran Hung said. King Yowu and the others nodded. They all knew that Night Sorrow's shortcoming was that he didn't have enough time to cultivate. Night Sorrow returned to the 9-domain world. His clone entered the clear sky pagoda and started to absorb the Kirin blood. After listening to the heavenly concubine and Tran Hung, Night Sorrow also understood the importance of the original clone. If he didn't have to give it up, it wouldn't affect his cultivation. However, the quality of the clone was different. While the clone cultivated, Night Sorrow's original body went to a quiet place. He successfully passed the lightning trial and broke through to the 5 Emperor trial. After successfully breaking through, Night Sorrow felt that his entire body was filled with strength. After the breakthrough, he stabilized his cultivation in the time acceleration. Night Sorrow returned to the city in the sky because it was going to be Gong Xian's wedding soon. He definitely couldn't miss it. He always remembered this in his heart. Asterisk at most 2J New Chapter 50, Section D, K +. When Night Sorrow returned to the 9-domain world, the heavenly concubine appeared. You passed the lightning trial without a sound. 5 Emperor trial. You're getting closer and closer to the high-level Emperor trial. It's okay. Are you cultivating? If not, come with me to the city in the sky to rest. We'll go to the Medicine Valley together later. My senior brother's wedding is coming soon, Night Sorrow said to the heavenly concubine. I'll listen to your arrangements, the heavenly concubine said. The heavenly concubine said. She knew that Yi Shang wanted to take her there so that others could get to know her and her status in the 9 regions world. It was all for her own good. Night Sorrow and the heavenly concubine returned to their home in the city in the sky. Auntie Fei, heavenly concubine, things went smoothly. The Tree Supreme has decided to send her young daughter to the 9-domain world to live. She's going to Star Moon City herself, Night Sorrow said. Both worlds have world trees. This is a happy ending, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Not necessarily. The old world tree failed the god-destroying trial. She relied on her talent and the world origin power in her body to survive. However, there's a time limit. Night Sorrow shook his head. He didn't know how long the old world tree could live, but he knew it was only a time limit. How long exactly? Yang Lei asked anxiously. It won't be a short time. The Tree Supreme will persist until the young world tree grows up and can bring blessings to the celestial realm, Night Sorrow said. 13. If this operation succeeds, you'll be doing a great deed for the celestial realm and the billions of beings in the 9-domain world. Yang Lei said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. The moment the tree spirit agreed, my power of virtue increased again. It reached a bottleneck, a limit. When Night Sorrow saw the tree spirit in the city in the sky, the heavenly Tao determined that Night Sorrow had done a great deed for the celestial realm. Therefore, a large amount of power of virtue was added to him, allowing his power of virtue to reach the pinnacle of the virtuous emperor realm. Wu Lingfei and the heavenly concubine also nodded. They also felt some changes in fate. Although it wasn't clear, they knew it was due to luck. Well done. Son, there's nothing you can't do, Yu Qing said with a smile. Mother. Night Sorrow bowed to Yu Qing. The family sat together. Night Sorrow asked Yang Lei and Aoi how the gifts were. They had to be thick. They're ready. Don't worry. Aoi said with a smile. When I first arrived at Tai Xian Peak, Master didn't allow me to join the sect. It was eldest senior brother who guided me in my cultivation. Eldest senior brother used himself to teach me that I should be loyal to my friends. In addition, he also prepared 2 congratulatory gifts, Yi Shang said. Aoi and Yang Lei both nodded. They knew that Night Sorrow had almost become Gong Xian's disciple. They also knew that Night Sorrow and Gong Xian had a deep relationship. Prepare 2 more gifts. Night Sorrow, are you paying for me? The heavenly concubine said with a smile. Yes, and Auntie Fei. Night Sorrow nodded. Then Auntie Fei won't be polite with you. You're now the most powerful family in the 9-domain world, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Night Sorrow didn't refute because it was impossible to be humble. Chapter 2249. Night Sorrow, you've always been humble. Why aren't you humble now? The heavenly concubine smiled at Night Sorrow and asked. Newest 19 chapters Supra and, there's no point in being humble. Our family's treasures, alchemy, and blacksmithing materials are indeed of high quality. Night Sorrow shook his head. Let's not talk about other things. Just the materials for this defensive array are something that other factions can't provide. Wu Lingfei pointed at the dark ice unicorn tiger's shining body. After the arrangements were made, Yi Shan told them to call him when they set off. Then, he entered the secret cultivation room. He still needed to understand himself. After all, he had just advanced. In addition to the increase in his cultivation level, Night Sorrow's power of merit had increased a lot. He had reached the critical point of the deluxe merit emperor. If he had another breakthrough, he would become the unprecedented deluxe merit emperor. The increase in power of merit made Night Sorrow's deluxe merit Dao body much stronger. After cultivating in seclusion for 2 days, Night Sorrow left with his family after being reminded by his family. The Medicine Valley area was very lively. Although it had experienced 2 big storms, with Taishan Peak there, the Medicine Valley was the #1 sect in the 9 domains world. Its position was unshakable. Not to mention other things, the statue of Night Sorrow on Danding Cliff was enough to ensure the Medicine Valley's transcendent status. Medicine Valley's guest house was full except for the reserved rooms. The inns in Danding City were all full. Some people even stayed in Dongxian City, waiting for the Medicine Valley Master's big day. Night Sorrow brought his family, Wu Lingfei, and the heavenly concubine to Medicine Valley. They didn't go through the main entrance. Instead, they wrapped themselves in energy and arrived at Taishan Peak in 2 shuttles. Night Sorrow had just found his footing when July and Ningyun appeared. The 2 immediately bowed. Uncle, Master. If it's nothing serious, there's no need to be so formal. Let me introduce you. This is Heavenly Concubine, a friend of mine. In the future, you must treat her with respect. Night Sorrow helped July and Ningyun up. Greetings, Grandmaster, Grandmaster, Grandmaster's wives, Lord Golden Phoenix, Lord Heavenly Concubine. July and Ningyun greeted the others. 13. Gong Xian and the others appeared. Gong Xian immediately gave Night Sorrow a hug. Greetings, eldest senior brother. Greetings, senior brothers. Night Sorrow cupped his hands and greeted the other senior brothers. Mo Chen and Guanyi had also returned to the Medicine Valley in advance. 13. 8th senior brother missed you so much. He missed the days when you accompanied 8th senior brother to drink. This time, you must accompany 8th senior brother well. Shi Tianlin came over and hugged Night Sorrow. Haha. I plan to stay here for a while and drink with senior brothers. Night Sorrow said with a laugh. Not only did Shi Tianlin miss the old days, but so did Night Sorrow. Eldest senior brother, has Master been staying at the main peak all this time? Yang Lei asked. She was the emperor, so she could discover Yu Yangyu's whereabouts with a sweep of her soul power. Yes, I was originally at the main peak too. After all, I had to deal with some matters in the Medicine Valley, so I had to show my attitude. Now that I'm getting married, Master asked me to prepare for my personal matters, Gong Xian said. I see. 8th senior brother, didn't you want to drink? Ask your disciples to prepare some food and wine. It's a must to have a big drink tonight, Yang Lei said to Shi Tianlin. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow brought his family to the bamboo forest peak. This time, Night Sorrow did not refuse guests. He already knew about the changes in the Medicine Valley, so there was no point in avoiding suspicion. The members of the Medicine Valley who knew Night Sorrow came to visit him one after another. Lin Jingyi also wanted to see Night Sorrow, but when she arrived at the Taishan Peak, she was persuaded to go back by Tang Qianqian, who was staying at the Taishan Peak. Tang Qianqian had a lot of interaction with Gong Xian, so she knew some things. She knew that Night Sorrow was disappointed in Lin Jingyi, so she did not want her to discuss Night Sorrow. These things could not be hidden from Night Sorrow and the others. Night Sorrow sighed. Even if Tang Qianqian did not stop him, he would have asked others to. He did not want to see Lin Jingyi. During Gong Xian's wedding, Night Sorrow showed up and presented a gift in public. The heavenly concubine and willing concubine did the same. It was the same for the other forces in the 9 domains world. There were a few peaks in the Medicine Valley that did not have a good reputation, but Gong Xian's reputation was very high. Both the forces that should come and the forces that should not come all came, all for the sake of forming good karma. After Gong Xian's wedding, the heavenly concubine and willing concubine left. Night Sorrow's children also went out to train. Night Sorrow and his wives stayed at the bamboo forest peak. This situation made the older generation of Medicine Valley very happy. Night Sorrow was back, and Night Sorrow was no longer upset about the past. The disciples of Medicine Valley who joined later were also very happy. Night Sorrow was the pride of Medicine Valley. He was the belief of the disciples of Medicine Valley and the goal of their hard work. Night Sorrow stayed at the bamboo forest peak and went into seclusion. There were no battles in the celestial realm, so he could cultivate in peace. He also had to seize the time because he did not know when the cultivators of the ancient world group would appear. Also, the demon-winged clan was still watching. This time, Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger went into seclusion. The doppelganger cultivated the Wuji physical conditioning art. It constantly broke its arms and used the essence blood of the arms to replenish the vital blood of the main parts of the body. Then, it used the blood of the black dragon and auspicious blood to regenerate the broken limbs. Then, it continued to advance. This was the essence of the Wuji physical conditioning art. The regenerated limbs were not weaker than before. Night Sorrow knew that the problem of his doppelganger's vital blood could be solved with the help of the Wuji physical conditioning art. When the doppelganger cultivated the Wuji physical conditioning art to replenish the lost vital blood, Night Sorrow had an idea. The Wuji physical conditioning art could replenish vital blood, so it could also be used for cultivation. If the original body cultivated it, then the strength of his body would increase, which would be very helpful for the improvement of his merit Tao body. Thinking of this, Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. He knew that his painful journey was about to begin. In the past, cultivating the myriad Tao tome required him to strengthen his muscles and bones. Now, he had to be even more ruthless and cultivate his limbs directly. Night Sorrow refined some elixirs to replenish vital blood and took out the black dragon's essence blood. Then, he broke his left arm and began cultivating the Wuji physical conditioning art. The pain was unbearable. Even if one's cultivation was shocking, the pain of a broken limb was unbearable. Moreover, it was broken by oneself. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, the celestial realm and the 9 domains world quietened down. Also, the matter of the world tree had been settled. The young world tree had been planted behind the heavens-sealing great hall of the 9 domains world. For safety, Night Sorrow had the 9 domains world's origin body watch over it and not allow anyone to get close. No one, including the Yi family, was allowed to get close. The tree spirit's original body had also arrived in the celestial realm. This caused a huge commotion. It was too shocking. The world tree itself was huge, covering the sky and the sun. In addition, the origin energy of the world was also very dense. It was impossible not to cause a commotion. Chapter 2250. Good work. It's their good fortune and ours to be able to find a world tree to settle in. It's hard to say who the celestial realm belongs to. If the celestial realm is doing well, we're happy to see it. Let's not care about anything else for the time being and continue to investigate. We must be cautious and not lose our men easily. It's not easy for our men to enter the celestial realm, Mo Zhantian said. He was not in a good condition and still needed to recover. Mo Zhantian had suffered serious injuries last time. Not to mention his future, it would take a long time for him to recover his full combat strength. The main reason was that the resources he needed were not easy to find. The Heaven Wasteland domain had a long history, but 1,000 reincarnations ago, the Heaven Wasteland domain had gone downhill. After 1,000 reincarnations as a secondary supreme world, their resources were almost depleted. They were not as rich as the 100 races of the celestial realm. Without the strength and opportunity to attack, Mo Zhantian could only wait. He was not afraid because the Demon Imperial City was unbreakable. As long as the Demon Imperial City was not broken, the Demon Wings clan would not be destroyed. In the past 1,000 reincarnations, the Demon Wings clan had been through this. They would attack the celestial realm if they were strong and retreat to defend if they were weak. Now the Demon Wings clan was in the defensive phase because the celestial realm was too strong at this time. Tran Hung and King Yowu were both at the Soul Uniting Realm, the strongest realm before the Divine Tribulation. He and Mo Yutian could not defeat them. In addition, in the Middle Emperor Tribulation level competition, the 100 Kings tribe of the Demon Wings clan was also at a disadvantage compared to the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. The Demon Wings clan did not move, and the Ancient World's cultivators did not move either. The Celestial Realm stabilized. Night Sorrow stayed at the bamboo forest peak. Yang Lei and Aoi were worried about their families, so they left first and returned to the city in the sky. Night Sorrow spent 4 years in seclusion this time. In the accelerated cultivation, he cultivated for more than 200 years. After his doppelganger completely recovered, he began to cultivate the reincarnation true dragon technique. His original body was constantly strengthening his body through the regeneration of broken limbs. In the past 200 years, Night Sorrow's body had been regenerated with the exception of his genitals. While constantly regenerating broken limbs and strengthening his body, every part of his body had been strengthened. His body had also been cultivated to the level of tribulation of 6 emperors, which had once again surpassed his soul realm. In 200 years, Night Sorrow's soul realm had naturally increased, approaching the middle stage of tribulation of 5 emperors. Night Sorrow knew that when the cultivation of the body surpassed the realm, the cultivation method of using strength to prove one's Tao would appear again, and the improvement of the realm would speed up. After ending his seclusion, Night Sorrow went to Gong Xian's residence on Taixian Peak and met with Gong Xian and Tang Qianqian. He was also here to say goodbye. He was about to leave. Gong Xian and the others did not force Night Sorrow to stay. They knew that it was not easy for Night Sorrow to stay in the Medicine Valley for 4 years. In addition, Night Sorrow still had a lot of things to do. After leaving the Taixian Peak, Night Sorrow met with Yu Yangyu again and drank 2 cups of tea with Yu Yangyu. These words had always been in Night Sorrow's heart. After leaving the Medicine Valley, Night Sorrow did not go home. Instead, He went directly to the heaven-sealing Great Hall to cultivate. He had a lot of things to cultivate. He entered the soul-nourishing palace in the heaven-sealing Great Hall, which was the palace where the soul-nourishing grass was grown. This time, Night Sorrow wanted to increase his cultivation level. While increasing the strength of his body, he also wanted to increase the strength of his soul. As for why he chose the heaven-sealing Great Hall, it was because the soul-nourishing grass there grew better than the ones in the clear sky pagoda. After all, the heaven-sealing Great Hall had more source energy. When the heavenly concubine discovered Night Sorrow's appearance and wanted to meet with Night Sorrow had already entered the heaven-sealing Great Hall. His body cultivation has reached the tribulation of the 6 emperors. Using his body cultivation to drive his cultivation level, he will increase his cultivation level rapidly. This is a true genius, a true demon. The heavenly concubine murmured softly. Then, the heavenly concubine smiled. She was glad that she was Night Sorrow's friend. This was because she was sure that going against Night Sorrow would not end well. Going against Night Sorrow would result in a tragic outcome. In the city in the sky, Yi Qinyan, Zhang Yi, and Aoi were chatting. Zhang Yi, you're still young. Also, the matters of the Yi clan are decided by your martial uncle, so. Aoi looked at Zhang Yi and said. Auntie. Martial uncle won't be angry, right? Zhang Yi said softly. He was called over by Aoi today. No, I called you here today because I wanted to tell you that you don't have to be so secretive. You don't have to feel pressured. If you have any ideas, wait for your uncle master to come back and tell him. Aoi said with a smile. She was worried that Zhang Yi was young and worrying about things every day would affect his mental state. Hence, she called him over. Zhang Yi, don't worry. I'll tell my father when the time comes. Yi Qinyan said. She felt that as his senior sister, she should help Zhang Yi. After all, Zhang Yi was still young. Senior sister, there's no need for that. My father and martial uncle are both responsible men. I, Zhang Yi, am the same. Zhang Yi said. Aoi smiled and nodded. She didn't say anything else. She was very satisfied with Zhang Yi's attitude. She knew that when a woman got married, the man's shoulders had to be strong and he had to be responsible. Right now, Zhang Yi was acting very responsible. Father is too much. Once he starts cultivating, he doesn't even want his wife and children anymore. Yi Qinyan muttered. You bastard girl. If your father didn't work hard, would the 9 regions world be so stable? If our family was stable, would you be able to live comfortably? Yang Lei entered the room. In the Yi clan, there was no distinction between the family and the children were all educated the same. Scolding was normal. Auntie, Qinyan was just saying it casually. I'm not slandering father. Father is Qinyan's pride. Yi Qinyan said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation Auntie understands you children. I know you're joking. However, you can say this at home, but you can't say it outside. People will think you're immature. Yang Lei said. Auntie is right. Yi Qinyan nodded. Night Sorrow didn't come out of seclusion. Everything went according to plan. Time passed like this. In the 20th year since Night Sorrow entered the heaven-sealing palace, Zhan Tan and Yi came to the 9 regions world. Lin Piaomiao received Zhan Tan. Sikong Chuyu came to the 9 regions world and shouted in front of the heaven-sealing palace. Night Sorrow's 9 regions clone had come out of seclusion after receiving a message from the 9 regions origin body. His reincarnation true dragon art had been fully integrated and he was studying its power. His original body was in the final stages of breaking through because he was about to enter the 5 Emperors' Tribulation. As long as he entered the 6 Emperors' Tribulation, Night Sorrow believed that even if he encountered the 9 Emperors' Tribulation, he would be able to defend himself. Chapter 2251. Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu returned to the city in the sky. Senior brother is here. Night Sorrow was very happy to see Jean Tan. Haha. I haven't seen you in a long time. Jean Tan smiled. Yes, we haven't met in a long time. We must have a good chat this time. Night Sorrow nodded. Jean Tan and Yi came to the city in the sky to see Night Sorrow and to see how their son was doing. While the Yi family was preparing dinner, Jean Tan and Yi met their son. They were very satisfied with their son's achievements. After hesitating for a while, Jean Yi sighed and told his parents that he liked Yi Qingyan. You bastard, you really know how to scheme. You even want to eat the grass beside your own nest. But your senior uncle's son is really outstanding. But I don't know what your senior uncle and auntie are thinking. What about your senior sister? Jean Tan asked. He knew that this matter was very serious. If it wasn't appropriate, it would hurt the relationship between brothers. Senior sister is fine with it. Auntie knows as well. I don't know what senior uncle thinks. Jean-Yi shook his head. Jean-Yi, you can't speak of this matter so easily. This concerns the relationship between our families. You have to know that my relationship with junior brother is more important than anything else. Jean Tan said. I understand. I'll tell senior uncle later. As for what senior uncle decides, it won't affect your relationship with senior uncle. Jean-Yi said. Jean Tan waved his hand. It's fine if I don't know. But now that I know, how can I pretend not to know? That's not what a man would do. Night Sorrow and his wives were chatting. Aoi mentioned Yi Qingyan's situation again. Sixth senior sister, senior brother and senior sister won't mention this matter so easily. They're worried that we won't be willing and will hurt our relationship. Call Qingyan over and ask her. If there's no problem, we'll find a suitable time to let her know. Night Sorrow thought for a while and said. Night Sorrow felt awkward with this arrangement. But it was a matter between a man and a woman. It wasn't appropriate for the woman to ask. It was like she couldn't get married. This was a matter of etiquette and also a daughter's face. If it was anything else, Night Sorrow could have told Jean Tanming. When women chatted, they would naturally talk about family matters. Aoi, Yang Lei, the 9th General, Zhan Yi, and Qing Yan were all casually mentioned to Yi. Yi naturally didn't have any objections and the signal was sent over. What happened next was much easier. Qiantan and Yi naturally understood what was going on. Junior brother, you've already taken care of things that you shouldn't care about. We've really caused trouble for him by sending the child over. Sandalwood felt a little guilty. He felt that he had caused trouble for Night Sorrow. We do owe junior brother too much. Gu Yi, you know our family situation, so you know what to do. Yi looked at her son and said with a heavy tone. She knew that the Zhan family's current situation started with Night Sorrow's help. After the matter was settled, Sandalwood discussed the matter with Night Sorrow. He said that everything would be arranged by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow felt that Zhan-Yi was still young. It would be better for the two of them to let nature take its course. When the child mentioned it, then he would take care of it. In addition, Sandalwood told Yi Shang that the Heaven Realm's 100 clans had fought with the ancient world's cultivators several times at the entrance of the Ethereal Dynasty's ancient world. They had blocked the ancient world's cultivators from entering the ancient world. However, the seal's effect wasn't good. Although the seal was strong, it couldn't stop the ancient world cultivators from charging head-on. Junior brother, when are you going to fight? Sandalwood asked. I don't want to fight for now. If the situation is urgent, the city lord's residents and the sect elders will inform me. Night Sorrow replied. He was still in the cultivation stage. He planned to break through the bottleneck of the tribulation of the 5 emperors and reach the tribulation of the 6 emperors first. All right. The god-slaying team hasn't fought for a while. Everyone is waiting for your return, Sandalwood said. Night Sorrow nodded. He was also worried about the god-slaying team. After Sandalwood and Yi left, Night Sorrow continued to cultivate in seclusion in the city in the sky. He had reached the bottleneck of his cultivation stage. He planned to stabilize it first before going for the tribulation. In the city lord's residence of the ethereal dynasty, King Yawu and a group of people from the sect elders were present. The ancient world cultivators were constantly charging. Tran Hung was in charge of the heavenly desolate city. King Yawu came over and Lu Qi went to the divine capital to take his place. The cultivators of the ancient world are endlessly trying to break through. Are we going to fight our way in? Emperor Tang asked. No. The ancient world has a long history. Not to mention the high-level cultivators, the middle-level cultivators are stronger than us. If we go in, we will be weak at the entrance. It will be troublesome if we are attacked. King Yawu shook his head and said. Should we ask the young city lord to come back? The young city lord is better at war. Qin Xianjie expressed his opinion. Not for now. Knight Sorrow is the virtuous merit emperor. He is a cultivator with 2 forbidden attributes. He needs time to improve. Don't disturb him now. When it's time to come out, he will come out. King Yawu shook his head. King Yawu also understood that he was better at individual battles. However, he felt that no one could be more meticulous than Knight Sorrow when it came to commanding a war. This was a talent. He and Tran Hung were more domineering and heroic than Knight Sorrow when it came to commanding a war. However, they were slightly lacking when it came to details. They could not win a war without losses, but Knight Sorrow could. Sect Elder Lin, what's the young city lord situation now? King Tianxing looked at Lin Piaomiao, who had not spoken. For the past 20 years, Knight Sorrow has been cultivating in seclusion. A few days ago, he showed up. However, as his wife, I could not see through his cultivation. I did not ask, Lin Piaomiao said. She was here with a clone. Her real body was in the city in the sky. Hee hee. Your family is really something. Why didn't you ask about this? Qin Xianjie was really a little conflicted because this kind of thing would not happen in other families. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, yes, let him continue to cultivate. We will deal with these things. King Yawu directly ended the topic. He really did not want to give Knight Sorrow too much pressure. The sect elders all left. King Yawu did not move. He looked at Lin Piaomiao and said, Piaomiao, don't tell Knight Sorrow about this. His talent in commanding a war is high, but he still lacks the ability to protect himself when he encounters a top expert. Now, he needs time to improve his personal combat strength. When he can protect himself in front of any expert, then it will be time for him to come out. Thank you for your understanding, Martial Uncle. Lin Piaomiao cupped her hands at King Yawu. When no one was around, she would call King Yawu Martial Uncle like Knight Sorrow. Chapter 2252. It should be successful. He's not a stubborn person. If he reaches a bottleneck or is lost, he will come out, Lin Piaomiao said. As his wife, she knew Knight Sorrow very well. That's good, that's good. King Yawu nodded and left. He usually stayed at the entrance of the ancient world in the Misty Dynasty. Now that the elders were having a meeting, he came back to preside over it. After everyone left, Lin Piaomiao looked at Song Ming and said, what kind of world is this? There's no peace. Yeah. Things are happening one after another. The demon-winged clan is being suppressed and the cultivators of the ancient world group appear again, Song Ming said. She was different from before. In the past, she didn't care about fighting. Now, she just wanted to live a good life with Wu Feng. Knight Sorrow was still cultivating in seclusion. He felt at ease. The giants of the celestial realm were suppressing the demon-winged clan. He just had to cultivate hard. As for the cultivators of the ancient world group, he felt that they were a hidden danger that couldn't be solved. No one knew what was going on inside the ancient world group. However, it was stable for now. Tran Hung and King Yawu could solve it. The seclusion this time wasn't long. It was less than 2 months in the real world. Time was accelerated for more than 9 years. Night Sorrow reached a bottleneck in his cultivation and stabilized it. After coming out of seclusion, Night Sorrow left the city in the sky and found a quiet place to trigger the lightning tribulation. In the distance, the heavenly concubine stood with her hands behind her back. Her residence beside the city in the sky had been built long ago. She had been cultivating here. Her cultivation level had reached the soul unification realm a year ago. The heavenly concubine used 50 years in the real world to cultivate the clone. Then, she used 3 years to cultivate to the soul unification realm. If you succeed, then the cultivators of the tribulation of the 9 emperors in the 9 domains world won't be your match. You'll be as stable as Mount Tai, the heavenly concubine muttered to herself. Look. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. Heavenly concubine knew about Night Sorrow's situation. Based on the speed at which Night Sorrow took them to Medicine Valley, Heavenly concubine knew that Night Sorrow's strength in 9 regions world was close to tribulation of 9 emperors. If Night Sorrow entered the tribulation of 6 emperors level, the heavenly concubine felt that in the 9 domains world, soul unity realm cultivators wouldn't be able to suppress Night Sorrow. As the thunder tribulation descended, Night Sorrow relied on the energy in his body to withstand it. On one hand, he was transcending the tribulation, and on the other, he was using the Emperor Tribulation lightning to temper his body. Just like when he was in the Saint Realm and Saint King Realm, he was using the energy of the Thunder Tribulation to baptize his body and strengthen it. Heavenly Concubine's eyes twitched when she saw Night Sorrow take on the Lightning Tribulation. She couldn't even take on a 6 Emperor level Lightning Tribulation. Night Sorrow activated his virtuous Tao body to fight against the Lightning Tribulation. He used the lightning to baptize his body, making the energy in his flesh, blood, and meridians more solid. Bolts of lightning whizzed down, but Yi Shan stood where he was without moving. He just stood there and endured it. When the lightning tribulation was over, Yi Shan's surroundings were filled with bottomless black holes. Only the spot where he stood was like a stone pillar that supported the heavens. After transcending the lightning tribulation, Night Sorrow let out a long howl. Then, he sat down cross-legged to stabilize his cultivation and realm. His body is already so strong at the mid-stage of the tribulation of 6 emperors. It's too terrifying, Heavenly Concubine muttered in a low voice. Heavenly Concubine originally thought that Night Sorrow would take 10 days to half a month to stabilize his cultivation. But in fact, Night Sorrow didn't even get up. He just sat there and cultivated. This made Heavenly Concubine a little puzzled. 3 months later, infinite energy appeared in Night Sorrow's body. The energy of life and death was constantly displayed. So it's the lightning energy that gave him enlightenment. If the infinite energy advances and enters the Emperor Tribulation, then the taboo attribute will be at the top level. Then, it will establish the foundation of an absolute powerhouse. Heavenly Concubine clenched her jade-like hands. She was very nervous. According to what she knew, the Demon Wing ancestors' taboo attribute was only at the peak of the high level. If Night Sorrow's taboo attribute broke through to the top level, then he would surpass the Demon Wing clan and the ancestors of the Celestial Realm's 100 races. But in fact, Night Sorrow and Heavenly Concubine were a little helpless. Night Sorrow clearly felt the opportunity to break through, but he couldn't break through that layer of window paper. When Night Sorrow stood up, he naturally noticed Heavenly Concubine, who was guarding him in the distance. His body shook twice, and Night Sorrow went to Heavenly Concubine's side. "Thank you for guarding me. You're still so polite. You're invincible in the 9 zones world. Even if some small fry came to attack you during your tribulation, your merit power and origin power would be enough to suppress them. I have to congratulate you. You've passed the 6 Emperor Tribulation. One more step and you'll pass the 7 Emperor Tribulation. I think you can go anywhere in the world then," Heavenly Concubine said. I can't go to the Demon Wing clan's Demon King City." Night Sorrow smiled. "That's true. You're going to be in a real bottleneck. Merit cultivation, taboo attribute level, mid-level Emperor Tribulation and high-level Emperor Tribulation. These breakthroughs won't be easy. Heavenly Concubine looked at Night Sorrow and said, I don't think increasing my level will stop me, but breaking through my merit cultivation and infinity attribute requires an opportunity. It's hard to say when that opportunity will appear. Night Sorrow shook his head. He knew the soul level could be accumulated over time, but breaking through his merit cultivation and infinity attribute could not be measured by time. It required an opportunity. Your infinity attribute is almost there, right? Heavenly Concubine asked. Now that you ask this, I'm really confused. I can clearly feel the bottleneck. I even feel like I can break through in the next moment, but I can't break through the wall, Night Sorrow said. You can't break through the bottleneck. The bottleneck can't stop you. This is called the bottleneck. Actually, you have the ability to break through, but you don't have enough foundation. It's between breaking through and not breaking through. You feel like you're missing something. You don't need an epiphany at this stage. Slowly accumulating and settling down will allow you to break through. I'll wait for the next time to celebrate with you. After hearing Night Sorrow's feelings, Heavenly Concubine's heart shook. She knew that Night Sorrow's situation was not because he was stuck at a bottleneck. It was because he didn't have enough foundation and accumulation. If what you said is true, then the merit cultivation bottleneck can't stop me. What I did in the past has always affected the celestial realm's 100 races and the 9 zones world. As long as this influence exists, then the merit power will continue to increase. The continuous increase will eventually break through the bottleneck. This bottleneck is only limited by time. Night Sorrow smiled. Looking at your smile, I'm speechless and angry. How can you cultivate like this? We've worked so hard to cultivate for countless years. Heavenly Concubine stared at Night Sorrow and sized him up. You're making my hair stand on end. We'll go back and celebrate, Night Sorrow said. After returning to Sky City, Night Sorrow told his family that he had broken through and wanted to celebrate. The Yi family was very happy. Father, what level are you now? Yi Xiaolei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. What are you asking a child for? Focus on your cultivation, Yi Shan said with a smile. Chapter 2253. In the Yi family, Lin Piaomiao was in the middle stage of the tribulation of 3 emperors. Normally, she would be able to see Night Sorrow's cultivation. However, Night Sorrow had cultivated the leakless true body. Unless her cultivation was much higher than Night Sorrow's, she wouldn't be able to see through it. All right. I just passed the tribulation of 6 emperors, Night Sorrow said. Father, we know that you were able to withstand the tribulation of 9 emperors when you were in the tribulation of 4 emperors. Now. Yi Xiaoluo was shocked. They had all seen Wu Lingfei's recording of the battle between Night Sorrow, Heavenly Concubine, and the Black Horn Dragon. They knew Night Sorrow's strength. They didn't expect Night Sorrow to break through 2 levels in the past 20 years. What happened in the past doesn't count. There are many other external factors. Night Sorrow smiled. What didn't count in the past will count in the future. Yi Qinyan looked at Night Sorrow with admiration in her eyes. The Yi family's banquet was very lively. Moreover, it was a celebration for Night Sorrow. The whole family was very happy. After the banquet, Night Sorrow asked Lin Piaomiao about the situation in the celestial realm while drinking tea. Seeing that Night Sorrow didn't plan to continue his seclusion, Lin Piaomiao told him about the current situation in the celestial realm. Very good. My cultivation rose too quickly and I need to settle down. Battles are the best way to settle down. Sister Xian Air, tell your clone in the ethereal dynasty to inform the first army and the god-slaying team to gather and wait for orders, Night Sorrow said as he swirled the teacup in his hand. All right. Lin Piaomiao nodded. Although she hoped that Night Sorrow would be safe, she also understood that battles were the path for Night Sorrow to rise. In addition, she also hoped that Night Sorrow could become all-powerful. Father, can I join the god-slaying team? Yi Xiaoluo asked Night Sorrow. No, you can think of the reason yourself. Don't blame your father for being selfish. Night Sorrow turned and left. Little Luo, I've told you before. You can join any team in the world, but not the team under your father's command, Datura said to his son. Xiaoluo knows, but I still have some extravagant hopes in my heart. Yi Xiaoluo shook his head. Everyone knew why Night Sorrow did not agree. Who was Yi Xiaoluo? As the young master of the 9 domains world, his status in the god-slaying squad was naturally extraordinary. During the battle, no one would let anything happen to Yi Xiaoluo, so they had to take care of him. This would disrupt some of the battle plans, and if it was more serious, someone would die. Don't mention these things anymore. You brothers and sisters are incomparably important in your father's heart. But he won't let your uncles die for you. Lin Piaomiao said. Yi Xiaoluo, Yi Yujun, and the others bowed. They understood their father's character. After returning to his residence, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. After drinking it, he shook his head and returned to the main hall. Father, Xiaoluo knows his mistake. I won't mention this again. I'm also willing to accept father's punishment. Seeing Night Sorrow return, Yi Xiaoluo bowed and said. What punishment? After drinking a cup of tea, your father calmed down. I feel that my words to you were a bit harsh. It's right for you to have dreams and pursuits. You don't even want to borrow father's name, so naturally, you don't want to borrow your uncle's for anything. It's just that your way of thinking is different from mine. Night Sorrow extended his hand to help Yi Xiaoluo up. Yi Xiaoluo turned around. His eyes were a bit sore, inexplicably sore. How about this? If you want to fight, follow me in the future. Don't mix with others. Night Sorrow said. That's suitable. When the time comes, you will follow me. But remember, I will only care about you when you have half a foot in the gates of hell. Heavenly Concubine said. Yi Xiaoluo slammed his left hand into his right palm and cupped his fists towards Night Sorrow and Heavenly Concubine. Then, Night Sorrow looked towards Zhang Yi and Yi Qinyan. I'm going to fight now. You guys decide your own matters. If you have any thoughts, tell Grandpa and Grandma. After giving some instructions, Yi Shang left. A father's love was like a mountain. Night Sorrow's children fell silent. They knew that their matters, even if it was a small matter, were extremely important to Night Sorrow. After resting for a night, Night Sorrow set off. His battle doppelganger followed along. In the 9-domain world, his 9-domain doppelganger was enough. In the 9-domain world, his 9-domain doppelganger was invincible. Night Sorrow asked Lin Piaomiao and the rest to meet up with the others in Ethereal Imperial City. He went to the entrance of the Ancient World Group. Night Sorrow. Seeing Night Sorrow arrive, King Yawu, who was originally sitting cross-legged, stood up. Greetings, Uncle Master. Night Sorrow bowed to King Yawu. 6th Emperor Tribulation Cultivation. Blood chi surged in your body like the tides of the sea. Impressive. King Yawu nodded as he sized up Night Sorrow. I'm back. Uncle Master, please tell me what you need, Night Sorrow said. Now that you're back, Uncle Master has a lot more confidence. Now, you can deal with some matters on your own. You can take on the truly important matters. King Yawu threw a futon to Night Sorrow and let Night Sorrow sit down. Night Sorrow took out 2 jars of wine and drank with King Yawu at the entrance of the Ancient World Group. King Yawu was really happy because the divine capital had a successor. The two of them didn't talk about the big picture. They just drank. Night Sorrow, take this. After drinking a jar of wine, King Yawu suddenly attacked Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's body flashed as he used the void step to distance himself. Then, he raised his right hand and grabbed the reincarnation heavenly halberd. Then, he added the merit Dao domain to his body. At this time, King Yawu also attacked Night Sorrow with his long spear. He did not hold back, nor could he hold back. Night Sorrow activated his merit Dao body. Forbidden energy burst forth as he battled King Yawu in midair. Hashtag. Without holding back, Night Sorrow fought to the fullest. Reincarnation energy and primordial energy attacked. Primordial destruction / and reincarnation true dragon art alternated, blocking King Yawu's attack. At this time, Blood Kirin King, Golden Dragon King, Heavenly Astral King, and Huang Ling all arrived. They had received the news and came to see Night Sorrow. When they arrived, they saw the battle in the sky. Very good. Night Sorrow, you have succeeded. In the future, you can go anywhere in the world. King Yawu floated back and put away his divine spear. Thank you for showing mercy, Uncle Master. You didn't embarrass me, Night Sorrow said as he put away the reincarnation heavenly halberd. Uncle Master only used 65% of his battle strength, but you didn't use your battle clone either. Haha. Very good. King Yawu was very happy. Congratulations, young city lord. Blood Kirin King and the others cupped their hands at Night Sorrow. They were extremely shocked. They were shocked not only because of Night Sorrow's battle strength but also because of Night Sorrow's potential. Night Sorrow's cultivation was at the tribulation of 6 emperors. This meant that he had the strength to fight against the tribulation of 9 emperors. There was too much room for development. There was still 3 levels of room for improvement. He would be invincible in the world. Thank you, everyone. You have worked hard for the past few decades, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 2254. That's right. Stability isn't achieved through defense. It's achieved through fighting. If those who have evil intentions are scared, who would dare to come? The celestial realm is our celestial realm. The foreign races. Let's not talk about fighting their way in. They can't even have evil intentions. Let's start with the cultivators in the ancient world group first, then deal with the demon-winged clan, Night Sorrow said. Although his words were calm, they contained killing intent and boundless dominance. All right. King Yawu's shoulder-length hair fluttered. He admired Night Sorrow's dominance the most. It was the potential for great things. It was also the temperament of a king. Uncle, do you think it's right? Night Sorrow looked at King Yawu and asked. That's right. I also want to kill them, but I can't split myself. There's no one guarding this place when I go in. I'm worried about other people going in. Now that you're here, I have extra manpower, King Yawu said. After a discussion, Night Sorrow brought his people into the ancient world group. Blood Lin King and Astral King followed. Uncle, I'll also bring the protectors of the 9 regions, Night Sorrow said to King Yawu. Uncle and Tran Hung can't say anything about her. You can make the arrangements, King Yawu said. King Yawu and Tran Hung knew about the heavenly concubine. They also knew that even if the heavenly concubine didn't hate them, she wouldn't give them any face. All right. Night Sorrow nodded and left on the teleportation formation that had already been set up. Blood Lin King and Astral King decided to fight with Night Sorrow, so they waited there. The young city lord is so domineering. Astral King said. Domineering needs to be supported by strength. The young city lord is qualified, Blood Lin King said emotionally. When he had first met Yishang was still very weak. But now, Yishang was incomparable. Not to mention Yishang's super strong fighting strength, even his cultivation level had surpassed Blood Lin King. The future of the celestial realm, the hope of the celestial realm, King Yawu said. The only obstacle is the god-destroying tribulation. Otherwise, the future would belong to the 100 races of the celestial realm. When he saw Night Sorrow, he saw the future of the 100 races of the celestial realm. However, he then recalled that Night Sorrow had already come into contact with the forbidden energy. In an era, the post-celestial Tao would release a tribulation, which was the god-destroying tribulation. The young city lord is already so powerful when he is only at the tribulation of the 6 emperors. Maybe he has a chance to pass the god-destroying tribulation. After all, he has many advantages that no one before him has, Blood Kirin King said. King Yawu nodded. He also felt that there was a lot of hope. Night Sorrow's lifespan was only about 1,100 years. An era was 100 billion years. After returning to the ethereal imperial city, Night Sorrow went to the Night Moon Villa. He saw the first leader and the god-slaying team assembled. Heavenly Concubine and Yi Xiaolua were also there. Yi Xiaolua was determined to participate in the battle. Brothers, I'm back. How have you been all these years? Night Sorrow looked at the god-slaying team and said. Very good. But because the leader is not here, we have been cultivating and cultivating. It's too boring, Long Jean said. Then you should be happy because I'm going to war. Night Sorrow turned to look at his brothers who had gone through life and death with him. Okay. Tianyu and the others nodded. Everyone was very excited because they all liked days of passion. Night Sorrow asked everyone to prepare. They would depart the next day. After all these years, many of his subordinates already had families. Night Sorrow wanted to give everyone some time to explain to their families. After sending everyone away, Night Sorrow sat in the main hall of the mansion. He brewed a pot of tea and pondered. What are you thinking about? Lin Piaomiao sat beside Night Sorrow. Let's not talk about the first leader. Let's talk about the god-slaying team first. Many of them have families and children. Is it appropriate for me to bring everyone out to fight? Am I dragging everyone down with me? Night Sorrow said. You have your concerns, but everyone has their own thoughts and pursuits. Perhaps they love this kind of life, Lin Piaomiao said. Yes, you are not everyone. How do you know what everyone is thinking? Yang Lei also came to the hall. Night Sorrow nodded. He felt that there was a need to talk to everyone, consider their feelings, and respect their choice. A day later, everyone returned. Without needing to be called, everyone gathered at the martial arts arena. Standing on the stage of the martial arts arena, Night Sorrow looked at all his brothers and shook his head. Today, I have something to say. You have been through life and death with me for many years. Back then, we were all young boys. But now, it's different. Everyone has succeeded in cultivation, has children, and has a family business. So, it's no longer that carefree time. You should all have your own lives. 13th brother, what are you talking about? We are all brothers who have gone through life and death together. Naturally, we have to fight side by side, Qingjin stood out and said. That's right. In the past, we were able to fight. What can't we do now? Ho Jian stood out. Yin Huang stood out. Liang Yu stood out. Everyone took a step forward. Chapter 8, Genuine First Release, Sigh. You guys haven't grown up yet. Night Sorrow smiled bitterly. We are still the same as before. Furthermore, we can rest assured that as long as one of our brothers is still alive, the family members of our god-slaying squad will be safe and we will be able to live a good life, Lei Bao said with a smile. That's right. As long as one of us is alive, our families will be safe. This is the promise between us brothers and sisters. Night Sorrow nodded. In the 9-domain world, there was a city called Loyalty City. The city wasn't big and wasn't bustling. However, it was exceptionally peaceful. The people who lived here were the families of the god-slaying team. Loyalty City was built by Long Jin, Liang Yu, Lei Bao, and the others. Liang Yu, the most stable person, was the city lord. They didn't tell Night Sorrow, but Night Sorrow knew. He went to help set up a defensive formation. Brothers of the First Army, you guys haven't been with me for long. But I treat you guys the same as I treat them, Night Sorrow said to the soldiers of the First Army. Thank you, young city lord. The soldiers of the First Army bowed to Night Sorrow. After making things clear, Night Sorrow brought his people to the entrance of the ancient domain world. When Night Sorrow arrived, many people were already there. This was because everyone knew that this was a major event for the celestial realm. It was a foreign war. The Grand Elder came along with some elders. The Grand Elder crushed a soul crystal. Then, Tran Hung's soul incarnation appeared in front of everyone. "Greetings, City Lord." Knight Sorrow cupped his hands in greeting to Tran Hung. Chapter 2255. Both King Yawu and Tran Hung were afraid of the ancient world group. This was also why King Yawu had sent a message to Tran Hung and asked him to send his soul incarnation over. "Okay. If it's not safe, I'll bring everyone back," Knight Sorrow said. "If the ancient world tree can exist, it means that it's deep and unpredictable. Be careful. If you can't handle it, retreat." Who would have thought that it's not so easy to behave atrociously in the celestial realm? Tran Hung reminded him again. Then, his soul incarnation dispersed. The Grand Elder took out a map that Tran Hung had asked him to bring. "This is the map that Tran Hung asked me to bring. It contains some of his experience in exploring the ancient world group. Some of the situations are also recorded." Knight Sorrow opened the map and looked at it. Then, he slapped his head. There were hundreds of ancient worlds depicted on the map. Looking at the map, Knight Sorrow knew that he had underestimated the situation. "Don't feel pressured. Just take it as an experience. Take it as an adventure," King Yawu said. Under normal circumstances, King Yawu would be worried. However, when he saw the heavenly concubine in a white dress standing behind Knight Sorrow, he felt more at ease. He also saw the heavenly concubine's realm. She was in the same realm as him. She was in the divine soul-uniting realm of the tribulation of the 9 emperors. She was in the strongest realm under the God-destroying tribulation. Then, Knight Sorrow led his men into the entrance of the ancient world group. "Captain, I'll lead a team forward. Shall we coordinate with you?" Long Jean asked. "No. This time, we won't split up. That's too dangerous. This ancient world group is different from the previous battles. In the past, we pursued the enemy's strength and efficiency. This time, we'll focus on exploring and understanding." Knight Sorrow shook his head. He didn't agree with Long Jin's suggestion. Long Jin nodded. "Indeed, this time is different from the previous ones." Knight Sorrow led the team forward. When they encountered cultivators who took the initiative to attack or had hostile intent, they would kill them directly. The members of the God-slaying team with a lower cultivation base would attack, while the Blood Chilan King and Heavenly Astral King who were slightly stronger would attack. "Did you want to fight but never had the chance?" Heavenly Concubine looked at Knight Sorrow, who was rubbing his fingers, and smiled. "Everyone is too crazy. I don't even have the chance to make a move." Knight Sorrow smiled bitterly. Battles broke out from time to time, mainly because the ancient world's cultivators had a strong desire to attack Knight Sorrow and the others. They don't really fight with each other. Why would they kill us the moment they see us? Lin Piaomiao asked in confusion. "It's very simple. Our souls are fundamentally different from theirs. Our souls are from the Supreme World and the future Supreme World. We have the aura of origin energy and the characteristics of life origin energy. This is extremely tempting to them. Refining our divine pearls will be of great help to them," said the heavenly concubine. "I see. They see us as materials. Then we can only kill them. We can't let them enter the celestial realm." Hearing the heavenly concubine's explanation, Lin Piaomiao's expression changed. Fundamentally speaking, the ancient world's cultivators are more terrifying than the Demon Wing clan. The Demon Wing clan is fighting with us for the right to rule the celestial realm. It's for the space to live. If the ancient world's cultivators appear, it will be followed by a massacre, Knight Sorrow said. The heavenly concubine nodded. She agreed with Knight Sorrow's point of view. She was once the divine ancestor of the Demon Wing clan. Naturally, she knew that the Demon Wing clan occupied the celestial realm and ruled it. If the cultivators of the 100 races in the celestial realm submitted to them, they wouldn't kill them. However, the ancient world's cultivators were different. They treated other cultivators as materials. Essence blood, nascent soul pearls, and nascent soul pearls were all materials that they wanted. Don't care about that. If the foreign races are plotting against the celestial realm, we will kill them, said the heavenly astral king. What we lack is strength, said Night Sorrow. With Night Sorrow and heavenly concubine in the team, there wasn't much pressure on them during the journey of battle and training. After a few battles, Night Sorrow had a measure of his own strength. When his original body fought alone, it was slightly stronger than the tribulation of the 8 emperors. However, it was weaker than the tribulation of the 9 emperors. He would be suppressed by the tribulation of the 9 emperors, but he could protect himself. #6 When his original body and avatar fought, they were comparable to the tribulation of the 9 emperors. However, they couldn't suppress them. Night Sorrow's combat power shocked the heavenly concubine. The Blood Kirin king and the others also understood that among the 100 races in the celestial realm, other than the 3 giants, Night Sorrow was the strongest. However, this was only the current situation. After entering the group of ancient worlds for a year, Night Sorrow's cultivation had truly stabilized. He had killed many of the tribulation of the 8 emperors. He and the heavenly concubine had killed 5 of the tribulation of the 9 emperors. He and the heavenly concubine had killed 2 of the divine soul unity realm experts. However, the price they paid was relatively high. At this moment, Night Sorrow was injured. In order to block the danger for the god-slaying team, he took 2 attacks from the opponent. His body was penetrated by the opponent's sword. A full-power sword attack from a divine soul unity realm expert wasn't simple. It injured Night Sorrow's meridians. Night Sorrow's original body was injured. The situation at that time didn't allow him to think too much. If the divine soul unity realm expert killed his way into the god-slaying team and the first army, then the problem would be serious. There would be a lot of casualties. Looking at the wound on his chest that couldn't be healed due to the corrosion of energy, Night Sorrow released the clear sky pagoda. His original body entered and started to heal while his avatar stood guard outside. The attack power of a divine soul unity realm expert is too strong. If we take it head-on, we'll be in trouble, Night Sorrow's avatar said. He knew that there was still a big gap between him and a top-notch expert. It was still possible for him to fight skillfully, but if he were to fight head-on, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. It was a fact that his realm was low and his true chi cultivation was inferior to the opponent. Brother Shursan, it's our fault that you got injured, Qin Jin said apologetically. Just now, when they were watching the battle, they were too excited and got too close to the front. As a result, the opponent attacked them. It's not a bad thing. It also made me understand myself. If I'm injured, I'll just heal myself. It's not a big deal. Night Sorrow patted Qin Jin's shoulder and said. Qin Jin nodded. He knew that Night Sorrow was comforting them. Because Night Sorrow was injured, the team stopped moving. Night Sorrow was the main force of the team. It was important for him to maintain his combat strength at peak condition. The team stopped moving and everyone cultivated to stabilize their cultivation. Night Sorrow wasn't the only one who used actual combat to stabilize his cultivation. The others did the same. A bunch of crazy brats. They're just like their captain. However, this is indeed the fastest way to improve, Blood Kirin King said. Heavenly Concubine looked at Night Sorrow's back as he investigated the situation. Some thoughts appeared in her mind. She knew that the process of injury and recovery was the process of accumulating one's foundation. When one's foundation was enough, the bottleneck of the everlasting attribute would loosen, and the chances of breaking through would be much higher. Inside the clear sky pagoda, Night Sorrow was using the everlasting body tempering art. He was constantly breaking off parts of his body to repair the damage to his main body. At the same time, he was also cultivating. Chapter 2256. The limitless body tempering art was a supreme art for recovering injuries. The body's limbs and main torso came from the same source. It was the most suitable way to replenish other parts of the body. However, the regeneration of broken limbs required a lot of resources. It wasn't something an ordinary person could afford. Luckily, Night Sorrow had accumulated a lot of resources and could afford it. In the real world, 3 days had passed. Night Sorrow had spent half a year in the accelerated healing process before his injuries were completely healed. Half a year wasn't a short time. However, it wasn't easy for Night Sorrow to recover from injuries of that level. It was normal for experts to take decades or even centuries to recover from injuries. Young City Lord, are you okay? Don't leave any old injuries. It's not good for your cultivation. Blood Lin King looked at Night Sorrow, who had merged with his avatar. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Blood Lin King. Thank you for your concern. I'm fine. I've fully recovered. That's good. That's amazing. It's only been 3 days. Blood Lin King nodded at Night Sorrow. He was really impressed by Night Sorrow. He had seen with his own eyes the extent of Yi Shang's injuries. I cultivate my body, so I have a bigger advantage in this aspect. However, the ancient world's cultivators are really strong. Their forces are scattered all over the ancient world. They haven't found the entrance to the celestial realm. If they attack together, the celestial realm won't be able to stop them. Night Sorrow said. He was a little afraid. The ancient world's cultivators had been through countless years. Plus, they had a long cultivation heritage. Therefore, they were very strong. Yes, they have a lot of experts. However, they don't have a unified command. If they really work together and find the entrance to the celestial realm, it'll be a big problem. Astral King had the same worry as Night Sorrow. That's right. Therefore, we have to make a new plan. My idea is to use the connection between the ancient world and the celestial realm as the center. We have to clean up all sides and try our best to prevent that tunnel from being discovered. Night Sorrow said. Yes, protecting the celestial realm is our goal, and protecting the spatial tunnel is the most effective way, Lin Piamyo said. Sister Xianer, deploy the Heaven Wasteland Army and send other soldiers to Reincarnation Island. Gather the Heaven Wasteland Army of the 3rd Unified Heaven Wasteland Army and have them prepare for battle at the spatial passageway. If they have doppelgangers, scatter them near the spatial passageway. If other cultivators approach, report it immediately. Sister Xian, your clone will be stationed at the entrance of the spatial passageway. If anything happens, inform me immediately. Night Sorrow said to Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao nodded and went to make arrangements. Reincarnation Island's defense wasn't that important. Reincarnation Island had been reborn for a long time, and the Nirvana Tide and Extinguishing Storm had returned to normal. The possibility of cultivators flying over was extremely low. After the arrangements were made, Night Sorrow led his men and started to move. They didn't go deeper, but instead started to explore in an arc. He wanted to clear a space that protected the celestial realm's spatial passageway. The battle was still ongoing, but Night Sorrow didn't have many opportunities to act. Cultivators above the 8 Emperors' tribulation wouldn't appear as they wished. Although there was no battle, Night Sorrow still had some insights in his mind. However, improvement needed to be done step by step, and it wasn't easy to achieve. Heavenly Concubine, this is the cultivation technique for the leakless body. Take it and cultivate. After cultivating it, if your cultivation and battle strength are the same as your opponent, your body's energy consumption will be lower, and you will have the upper hand in terms of energy consumption. Night Sorrow wrote a leakless body cultivation technique and handed it to the Heavenly Concubine. I've been coveting your leakless body for a long time and didn't know how to ask. Now, I finally got it. The Heavenly Concubine said with a smile. What do you need? Just tell me. You still have to hide things in your heart. How boring. Night Sorrow shook his head and said. I can't bring myself to do this. Oh right, you're suitable to cultivate the Thousand Realms defensive body, but Can you ask Tree Sovereign for it? If she doesn't give it to you, I'll give it to you. The heavenly concubine thought for a moment and said, I won't make things difficult for you. Night Sorrow shook his head and went into the tent. /original VB version Y29 shots, my life belongs to the 9 regions world. I don't care about favors. The heavenly concubine looked at Night Sorrow's figure and muttered. You can't think like that. Night Sorrow treats you as a friend. You're the protector of the 9 regions world. Everyone hopes that you can live happily. Lin Piao Miao said. I know. I know that your Yi family is kind and generous. I was just joking with myself. Don't take it seriously. The heavenly concubine said. Lin Piao Miao nodded. She realized that the heavenly concubine's mentality was really good. She had such a huge setback, but it didn't affect her state of mind. Instead, she improved by leaps and bounds and cultivated to the soul unity realm. Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. He drank it while thinking. He felt that things were troublesome. The cultivators of the ancient world group were too strong. They were much stronger than the cultivators of the celestial realm. After all, their foundation was different. Their cultivation heritage was too long and they lacked resources. However, they could still cultivate by plundering. What are you thinking about? Blood Lin King entered the tent. The cultivators of the ancient world group are too big of a threat to the celestial realm. When they see us, it's like they've seen prey. They're completely crazy. If we let them enter the celestial realm, it'll be a disaster. Night Sorrow expressed his worries. That's right. They're a huge threat. We can't let them enter the celestial realm. Blood Lin King nodded. He wasn't confident either. That was why he came to Night Sorrow's tent. We don't have a good plan now. We can only hide the entrance first. Then, we can slowly eliminate the threat of the ancient world group. Night Sorrow thought for a while and said. That's the only way. But in fact, the ancient world group is too big. In this 1 year, how many ancient worlds have we discovered outside the map? It's a huge portion. Blood Lin King said. The ancient world group isn't formed by the destruction of a single sovereign world. It should be an area formed by the destruction of multiple sovereign worlds. Their inheritances are also different. It won't be easy to deal with them. Yi Shang shook his head. Blood Lin King didn't say anything. He knew that Night Sorrow had thought of the same problem. Let's fight. Let's focus on the ancient world group. As for the Demon Wing clan, they're not strong enough. They're not a big threat. Of course, with the Demon Imperial City, we won't be able to eliminate them no matter how hard we try. Night Sorrow said. It's okay if the Demon Wing clan stays put. If they jump around, won't it be troublesome? Blood Lin King smiled bitterly. He was worried. Chapter 2257. Haha. That's right. If there's a fight, let's fight. Who can say they can take the celestial realm? We can't take down the Demon Imperial City, but the Demon Wings clan can't take over the celestial realm either. Blood Kirin King's mind suddenly became clear. Blood Kirin King left. Night Sorrow sighed. If the celestial realm was ignited, it would be a terrible situation. While Night Sorrow was thinking, the heavenly concubine came to the tent. Night Sorrow got up and asked the heavenly concubine to sit down. Then, he poured a cup of tea for her. I heard what you said just now, but there are some things I need to tell you. If this is only a crisis in the celestial realm, I won't tell you because it's a threat to the 9 regions world. The heavenly concubine sat down and said. Night Sorrow was stunned. He didn't know what could threaten the 9 regions world because he thought the 9 regions world was very safe. Then, the heavenly concubine told him about the Demon Wings clan's ancestor. The ancestor of the Demon Wings clan fought against the human sovereign in the last reincarnation. Actually, he wasn't defeated by the human sovereign. He was attacked by the god-destroying tribulation. In the end, his spirit sea was destroyed by both the human sovereign and the god-destroying tribulation. However, he didn't die completely. His body was taken back to the demon imperial city by the other experts of the Demon Wings clan. His spirit sea was empty, but his soul imprint was still in the reincarnation heavenly halberd. The reincarnation heavenly halberd was in the reincarnation space at the bottom of the Nirvana ocean. The ancestor's soul couldn't return. Last time, when the heavenly concubine took his hair to the reincarnation island, his soul imprint in the reincarnation heavenly halberd went back to the demon imperial city. You're telling me this? Can the ancestor of the Demon Wings clan come back to life? Night Sorrow's face changed. This was too serious. It's possible. If he comes back to life, the consequences will be severe. His realm is higher than the soul unification realm. He should be a half-step divine emperor. The heavenly concubine said. Yi Shang slapped his forehead. When it rains, it pours. This news was really bad for him. It was like a bolt from the blue. Closing his eyes, Night Sorrow was thinking. The situation was too bad. Nobody knew how powerful a half-step divine emperor was, or what kind of special abilities they had. Night Sorrow, I don't know how to solve this problem. I don't care about the celestial realm, but I'm worried about the 9 regions world. The Demon Wings clan's main target is the new sovereign world, which is the 9 regions world. If the ancestor of the Demon Wings clan awakens, the 9 regions world will be in danger. Of course, cultivators who are stronger than you won't be able to enter the 9 regions world, but nobody knows what a half-step divine emperor is capable of. His body has been circulating for many years, and there's no trace of death chi, said the heavenly concubine. I will do my best. Night Sorrow sighed. The heavenly concubine didn't say anything else. She knew that Night Sorrow knew what to do. He wouldn't be caught off guard in the future. She didn't tell anyone. Night Sorrow's attitude was the same as before. If he had to fight, he would fight. He didn't want to cause panic because it was meaningless to tell others. The Demon Imperial City couldn't be broken. If the ancestor of the Demon Wings clan wanted to awaken, nobody would be able to stop him. #forever #free reading novels. After fighting for another half a year, Night Sorrow's clone commanded the battle. His real body entered the Hao Tian Pagoda to cultivate. He wanted to improve himself through the battles. He wanted to break through the bottleneck as soon as possible. Any bottleneck would do. It would be a great leap in strength. Night Sorrow's real body didn't fight. The heavenly concubine, Bloodlin King, and Astral King knew that he was cultivating hard. Bottleneck, damn bottleneck. Heavenly Astral King watched as Night Sorrow's doppelganger battled with the tribulation of 9 Emperor's cultivators and was injured again. He kicked a huge boulder into smithereens. He had been stuck at a bottleneck for a long time, but he couldn't break through. Calm down and settle down. Maybe you will be able to break through. Bloodlin King looked at Night Sorrow and said to Astral King. He was the same as Astral King. They were both stuck at the bottleneck and hadn't made any progress for many years. Astral King let out a breath. He knew what Bloodlin King said was reasonable. He just felt a little depressed. The younger generation was fighting in front of him, and he could only watch. He felt very uncomfortable. His real body was in seclusion, and his clone was injured. Night Sorrow ordered the camp to be set up. He wanted to heal and recover. Others didn't know why Night Sorrow was fighting so hard. He would rather have his clone get injured than fight. The only one who knew was the heavenly concubine. She knew that Night Sorrow was under a lot of pressure because of her words and the existence of the Demon Wings clan's ancestor. In just a few days, Night Sorrow's clone came out of seclusion. Everyone noticed that Night Sorrow's aura had changed a little. It was steady and deep, and it also contained boundless battle intent and killing intent. His robe fluttered without wind. It wasn't energy, but it was caused by his aura and aura. Waving his arm, Night Sorrow ordered the troops to set off again. The battle still had to continue. After setting up camp again, Heavenly Concubine came to Night Sorrow's tent. Night Sorrow, I regret telling you those things and giving you pressure. Some things have to be faced sooner or later. If I know in advance, I can be mentally prepared. Also, I am very grateful to you. Night Sorrow shook his head at Heavenly Concubine. Night Sorrow knew that Heavenly Concubine was in a difficult position. She didn't want to harm the Demon Wings clan, but she also wanted to protect the Nine Regions world. It was a difficult choice, but Heavenly Concubine still chose to stand on the Nine Regions world side. There's no need to be so polite between us. I know who you are, and I hope that you know who I am as well. Heavenly Concubine looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow smiled. I know who you are. Also, it's enough that I know you're my friend. In one sentence, I'll make everything clear. Living in the Nine Regions world might be the best choice in my life. Don't worry. No matter who it is, they won't be able to harm the Nine Regions world. Heavenly Concubine said. Night Sorrow took out 2 jars of wine and gave one to Heavenly Concubine. He sighed and said, the world is full of changes. I don't quite understand what you're saying. Heavenly Concubine took a sip of wine and asked Night Sorrow. Have you heard of the saying that if I'm the best commander, then the best strategist is Jun Xuanji? Night Sorrow said. I've heard of it. Is it because of me that Jun Xuanji isn't willing to help you anymore? Heavenly Concubine asked in surprise. Night Sorrow shook his head and said that there was a rift between him and Jun Xuanji. It would be difficult for them to return to how they were before. Heavenly Concubine didn't quite understand. She knew Night Sorrow's character. Night Sorrow wouldn't give up on anyone by his side for no reason. However, she had never heard of Jun Xuanji's misdeeds. There are some things that you don't need to know, but I can tell you that I, Night Sorrow, am an indomitable spirit. I do things with a clear conscience. However, she's not here, but you are. The world is full of changes, and I know your abilities and talent. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 2258. If you're talented, you must have a place to display it. Right now, you're in a dormant state because I'm not strong enough. I need you to stand behind me. It won't be like this in the future. Night Sorrow said. Then what will it be like in the future? Heavenly Concubine raised her head and looked at Night Sorrow. She followed Night Sorrow's words and asked. She also wanted to know what the future would be like. In the future. Let me think. Of course, you'll be all-powerful and dominate the world. In the past, you were very glorious in the Demon Wing clan. However, there was one thing that couldn't be denied. You were suppressed by the 100 races of the celestial realm. You couldn't fight whenever you wanted to. However, Heavenly Concubine of the Nine Regions world won't have that. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. What you said is very exciting. It's very difficult to live without being suppressed. Heavenly Concubine smiled. It's not difficult. Whoever suppresses us and makes us suppress them, will kick them to death. Night Sorrow didn't hesitate this time and directly expressed his opinion. Others might say that it's bragging, but if you say it's not, then we'll wait for that day. Heavenly Concubine nodded at Night Sorrow. As a cultivator, everyone wanted to do as they pleased. However, it was very difficult to truly do as they pleased. In the world of cultivators, experts were everywhere. If one didn't have any scruples, it was very easy to cause trouble. In the worst case, one would be killed or even die. However, Night Sorrow didn't exist. Firstly, Night Sorrow had a very high reputation in the celestial realm. Secondly, he was the virtuous human emperor. Going against the human emperor? A cultivator who did not have a problem with their mental state would not do such a thing. Another thing was strength. Now that Night Sorrow's original body and avatar were fighting, the tribulation of 9 emperors cultivators couldn't suppress them. When Night Sorrow entered the tribulation of 7 emperors, he would be similar to the divine soul unity realm. Even if he wasn't as strong, he would still have the ability to protect himself. Who would be able to suppress Night Sorrow? Night Sorrow was the realm master of the 9 regions world, and Heavenly Concubine was the heavenly concubine of the 9 regions world. Their honor and disgrace were one. Yong Jio, I'll have to trouble you for the time being. But if you have any thoughts or opinions, you can tell me. I trust you, Night Sorrow said. Alright, your face is big. No one will object to what you approve. Heavenly Concubine looked at Night Sorrow and said. If Night Sorrow believed her, then no one would doubt her. She had known this for a long time. Is it okay for you to chat like this? You make it sound as if I rely on my face to make a living and travel the world. Yi Shang helplessly smiled after hearing this. Why not? Having a big face was a skill. Without ability and prestige, how could he have any face? Face is an evaluation of one's overall ability. Having a big face is a display of one's status and strength. With just a sentence, you can solve problems without fighting. That's the realm. Heavenly Concubine corrected Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow smiled because what the Heavenly Concubine said made sense. Lord Heavenly Concubine is right. Relying on your face to make a living is the highest realm. Blood Lin King entered Night Sorrow's tent. Blood Lin King is here. Sit. Night Sorrow stood up and cupped his hands. Heavenly Concubine also stood up and cupped her hands with Blood Lin King before sitting down. I'm here to tell young City Lord that there's no need to worry about the spatial tunnel. The Qilin race, the Ice Phoenix race, and the elites of the Humanitarian League have all arrived. We didn't mobilize the people of Sky Desolate City, so there's no need to worry. Blood Lin King said. Alright. Although the ancient world group's cultivators might not discover the spatial tunnel, we have to be prepared. Also, we can't hide this from the Demon Wing race. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian should know. However, it's hard to say if they'll dare to attack Sky Desolate City. With Tran Hung holding the fort, it's useless even if they come. Their subordinates will be suppressed by the elders and Sky Desolate City's army. Night Sorrow said. He felt that the current arrangement was safe. If the ancestor of the Demon Wing race woke up, it would be a different matter. With the spatial tunnel stabilized, we have nothing to worry about. We can focus on dealing with things here. Blood Lin King explained the situation to Night Sorrow and left. Heavenly Concubine, there are some people in the celestial realm who know about your situation. However, no one looks down on you. My uncle and Tran Hung are very friendly. Night Sorrow looked at Heavenly Concubine and said. It's still the same as before. Their attitude is only good because of your face. As for looking down on me, they won't. I respect and admire Tran Hung and King Yawu. They don't respect and admire me, but at least they won't look down on me. Heavenly Concubine nodded. Experts respected each other. To be able to cultivate to soul unity, they had gone through a lot of hardships. They all needed respect. This was also respect for themselves. Heavenly Concubine chatted with Night Sorrow for a while. Then, she left Night Sorrow's tent. After resting for a night, the team moved forward again. Night Sorrow used the spatial tunnel as the center. He wanted to clear out an empty space. This way, he could do his best to prevent the spatial tunnel from being discovered. The battle was still going on. However, without a high-level Tribulation Emperor, Night Sorrow wouldn't do anything. This was also requested by Heavenly Astral King and Blood Lin King. They were Tribulation 5 Emperors. They also needed to fight under pressure. During the battle, the members of the God-slaying team and the First Army fought very hard. After the battle, Heavenly Concubine would give some pointers to the members of the God-slaying team. It wasn't like this at first. After Heavenly Concubine gave Yi Xiaoluo a few pointers, the members of the God-slaying team would ask some questions. Heavenly Concubine wasn't stingy with the members of the 9-domain world. She would explain the problems she discovered. She was Soul Unity Realm. She had lived for a long time. She was experienced and had sharp eyes. Therefore, she could see everyone's strengths and weaknesses. She could give specific pointers. Slowly, it became a habit. After the battle, the members of the God-slaying team would ask Heavenly Concubine for pointers and comments. Night Sorrow knew that this was a good thing. It was the beginning of Heavenly Concubine's true integration into the nine-domain world. The members of the God-slaying team were the core of the nine-domain world. They were also a group of top cultivators. Just by giving pointers, the interaction between the two sides would be very harmonious. In this situation, the members of the First Army weren't happy. They also came to find Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was a bit conflicted. However, he couldn't say this to Heavenly Concubine. He knew that Heavenly Concubine's attitude towards the members of the Celestial Realm was different from the members of the nine-domain world. As if she knew Night Sorrow's difficulties, Heavenly Concubine didn't say anything to Night Sorrow. Heavenly Concubine would also tell a bit about the First Army situation. However, there was still special treatment. Heavenly Concubine didn't hesitate to teach some battle techniques to the members of the God-slaying team. However, she only gave pointers to the members of the First Army. This situation made Night Sorrow realize that it wasn't easy. Blood Lin King and Heavenly Astral King expressed their gratitude to Heavenly Concubine. The members of the First Army didn't know about this, but the two of them did. They knew that this situation was already very rare. Chapter 2259. How? My original body and doppelganger are both here. My nine-domain doppelganger cannot leave the nine-domain world. Ask the young world tree. She is still in a daze. She doesn't know anything. Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's true. Are you in a hurry? Heavenly Concubine asked Night Sorrow. No hurry. I can cultivate a lot of things now. I haven't reached the point where I can't improve. Don't make things difficult for yourself. Everything is fine now, Night Sorrow said to Heavenly Concubine. Heavenly Concubine nodded. She noticed that Night Sorrow's body was constantly improving. She knew that Night Sorrow's original body was constantly improving. Ever since Heavenly Concubine told Night Sorrow about the Demon Wing clan's ancestor, Night Sorrow had been using his doppelganger to lead the team. His original body stayed in the space with the soul-nurturing grass. While strengthening his soul, he continued to cultivate the limitless body tempering art. His body's cultivation had been steadily improving. As his original body improved, his doppelganger naturally improved as well. In addition, Night Sorrow's defensive technique, Space-Time Realm, had also improved. In the past, when Night Sorrow used Space-Time Realm, he used space-time energy to protect his body. Now, he used primordial energy to protect his body. His defense was much stronger than before. Moreover, it was much smoother when he used it. This was the result of the nine-domain doppelganger's closed-door cultivation. Different techniques required different types of energy to be used. Space-type techniques were most compatible with space-time energy. Using other types of energy was great, but it was easy to not be compatible. If it wasn't compatible, it couldn't be used at all. The increase in Space-Time Realm's power allowed Night Sorrow to have more defensive methods. Night Sorrow and his subordinates used close to 3 years to clear a large area near the entrance of the Celestial Realm and the Ancient World. Using 3 years to clear out an area that was absolutely safe, Night Sorrow was quite satisfied. Knowing that his subordinates were working hard, Night Sorrow brought them out of the Ancient World group and to the outer area of the spatial tunnel. You have half a year to rest and recuperate. Gather here after half a year, Night Sorrow ordered. As an experienced cultivator, Night Sorrow knew that one had to have a balance between tension and relaxation when cultivating. Being tense all the time would allow one to improve quickly, but it would be detrimental to one's state of mind. He dismissed the troops and asked Lin Piaomiao to bring the Heavenly Concubine, his wives, and Yi Xiaoluo to the Night Moon Villa to rest. He communicated with King Yewu about the current situation. Your method can guarantee that there will be no war in the celestial realm for a short period of time, but that is not necessarily the case. This is an era of gods and demons. Some things that should and should not happen will happen. This is the end of the era, King Yewu said. After pondering for a while, Night Sorrow set up a barrier and told him about the information the heavenly concubine told him about the Demon Wing clan's progenitor. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, King Yewu was silent. After a while, he looked at Night Sorrow. The possibility is very high. According to the heavenly concubine's level and personality, if the probability was low, she would not have told you at all. It would not have affected your state of mind. Since she has told you, then the danger is very big. I will inform Tran Hung later. Don't let others know. Not only will it be useless, but it will also cause panic. I understand. Currently, only I and Uncle Master know. Night Sorrow nodded. Yes, you have already arranged some things very well. Seeing you grow up, Uncle Master is very pleased. This is nothing. If that guy comes, Uncle Master and Tran Hung will take care of him. Uncle Master may not be able to, but Tran Hung should be able to do it with the help of Tianhuang City, King Yewu said. Night Sorrow nodded. Then I will go home and take a look. Go. Go home and take a look. You don't know how many people are jealous of you, King Yewu said with a smile. Going home to take a look was an extravagant hope for many cultivators. Without family, home was no longer home. Cultivators were lonely. There were almost no cultivators like Night Sorrow in the celestial realm. In Night Moon Villa, there were some members of the god-slaying team. Both Sandalwood and Yi were there. Sandalwood was a member of the god-slaying team, and Yi often spent time with Night Sorrow's wife. Let's go and pay a visit to Master, Night Sorrow said to Sandalwood. 8 O Zheng, First Edition CS, haha. I have been waiting for you here, Sandalwood said with a smile. In Night Moon City, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood paid a visit to Master Qing Emperor and Master's wife Misty Rain. I am very happy that the two of you have achieved great things. I have lived for a long time, but the past 1,000 years have been the happiest and most worrying days. I am happy that Master's wife has returned. Sandalwood, I am happy that you have recovered and achieved great things. Night Sorrow, I am even happier that you have achieved great things. It is just that I have been very worried for the past 700 years. I am sorry for making you worry, Master. Night Sorrow stood up and cupped his hands towards Qing Emperor. Sit down. You have not done anyone wrong. Do not say such things in the future, Misty Rain said. I will remember Master's wife's words. Night Sorrow nodded towards Misty Rain. A disciple is half a son. You and Sandalwood are both great. You are much better than the other children of your master and I, Sandalwood. Master's wife was biased against you in the past. Please do not take it to heart. Misty Rain looked at Sandalwood and Night Sorrow. Master's wife is too serious. I have never thought of it that way. Sandalwood stood up and bowed towards Qing Emperor and Misty Rain. You too. We all know Sandalwood's character. No one will care about those things. Do not mention it in the future. Qing Emperor looked at his wife and said. All right. Night Sorrow, Master's wife wanted you to be her son-in-law. However, you are not fated to be with Qing Yuan. There is no other way. Misty Rain changed the topic. Master's wife is right. It depends on fate. By the way, how is senior brother? Was he affected by that incident? Night Sorrow asked about Qing Lin. Mo Xiaolan had plotted against him. Night Sorrow was worried that Qing Lin would be hurt. A little. Fortunately, it was not serious. He knew that Mo Xiaolan was scheming and using him from the beginning. She was not worthy of his love. Give him some time and he will get over it. Qing Emperor said. After chatting for a while, they agreed to have dinner together. Night Sorrow went to the back of Xinyue City because the World Tree was there. At this time, the entire Xinyue Island was covered by the World Tree. The tree crown extended in all directions and covered the sky above Xinyue Lake. When Night Sorrow arrived, the tree spirit appeared. Are there any drawbacks to settling down here? Do you need me to solve anything? Night Sorrow looked at the tree spirit and asked. There is no need. The environment here is much better than the original world. My roots can reach into the ground and enter the void. I can absorb a lot of energy. I can even extend my original lifespan. The damage caused by moving will also slowly disappear. Tree Spirit said, "You're tuning into the Dreamy Love Stories YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories."